What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the internet where your cesspool is my jacuzzi. We're here live with my friends Bruce from Oregon and Sentinel Ninja. Do you have your popcorn out? Because Bruce does. So, yeah.
Yummy dummy.
Our friend Patrick might be joining us later. It just depends on what time he gets done with dinner. So, we'll see. We'll see. And if you guys didn't see our stream, this must have been a few weeks ago now, about her just like renewing the restraining order against Greg Gillespie. Laura Owens, of course, is the person we're talking about. Then we didn't actually have the document at that time, and now we do. So we're going to read that. Thank you to the subreddit Justice for Clayton for always, providing the stuff that I read. But yeah. Thanks, mods, for being here. I appreciate that. Am I in the wrong time zone, or is Lauren fashionably late? You can always bet that I'm late. So
I told my husband, I was like, she said like 8:45 or 9. It was probably gonna be 9:30.
Well, it was 9:40, bitch.
So close.
Drunkest Turtle. Hello, people. Hello, Drunkest Turtle. Thank you for joining us.
I just want to say that made me think of my son has a book that we got him called.
Is it called The Drunkest Turtle?
No, it sounded like something when you said turtle reminded me of this. It's a book called Butt or Face. And it has different animals, and and it shows the picture, and you have to guess if it's a butt or a face, and then it'll tell you on the next page, and it'll tell you about the creature.
Are these photographs or hand drawings? Or
photographs.
What are they?
Like real photographs.
Are they in color?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. But some of the butts look like faces, and some of the faces look like butts.
Okay.
I'll send you a picture later for some context.
Well, that describes me, so I guess I'm done here. I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
Henrietta says I've read that. It's cute.
Man, I've never heard of that in my life. I had the hungry. What was it, like the squirrel that you put the squirrel through the pages? There's a little slot that the squirrel goes through each page. You guys don't know that one?
No.
Damn.
Huh. That sounds fun.
I'll have to find
Although I want to go write a book called The Drunkest Space Turtle now.
Yeah.
I would read it.
Me too.
I'd also like to option the film rights. I don't, have any idea how to make a movie, but
just hire me, and then I'll try to steal them from you by claiming sexual harassment.
I've got some good cast ideas for this movie.
Wait, could you explain that?
Yeah.
You can't just say that and not explain it. What's going on?
Right?
Yeah. Who are the casts for the movie?
Maybe I'll make Omar the casting director. He really likes the book Jenna Ortega.
Right. This is true. That's funny.
Erica wants to know about my book. I'm still working on it.
Work in progress.
Surprise to no one. Still in progress. Okay, hang on. Let me share my
The main character finally got to Nevada, so that's good.
Nice. Important.
So I wanted to share this because people were asking in the comments, is Greg going to fight this? I don't know. I haven't asked, obviously I feel like Greg is a private person, so I hate asking about stuff like that. So I don't know if he said anything to anyone else. All I know is on this Justice for Clayton Twitter account, it says, we know Greg is going to fight this with every piece of evidence he can. So if he decides to fight that, of course, we'll all be behind him. So I do want to point out right now, guys, that we can still donate to the fundraiser link. And let me put that in the chat right now. Hang on. So they were at $5,753. Let's see if we can get that to closer to 6,000. That'd be cool. Hang on. Just put that in here right now.
Very cool.
All right, I'm going to pin the message. And if you feel so inclined, because Greg needs it, in lieu of super chats, please donate to our friend Greg there, who needs our help. So,
and it is legit. He has talked to me about it. So
even if he doesn't end up fighting anything, which I'm not saying that he's not, I'm just saying I don't know. They still have debt from the previous stuff that she put him through in the legal system, and of course they have a child now, and so any funds I'm sure would be helpful. Let's see, move out of that.
I will say Greg is not the kind of person to stand back and just let things happen.
Yeah. Well, before we get into this document, we're reading like some heinous person shit all over him for no reason because she's jealous that he didn't want to impregnate her for real. I just want to say, most of you guys who are watching this know that I recently talked about some of my struggles and with just like drinking a lot and just like eating fast food constantly and just like not feeling like I really wanted to do anything. Like I was probably ordering Uber Eats like twice a day and just like really not doing good. And this story has nothing to do with Laura at all. It's just that I had shared that obviously on Instagram and stuff like that, and I had talked to Greg and he gave me some very good advice about what to do just to kind of jumpstart my progress and how to move forward and stuff like that. And that was totally, he didn't have to do that at all. I've obviously talked to the guy. I met him in court. And so of course, like we're not like total strangers, but at the same time, it's like he did not have to do that. So just want to say character wise, he's a pretty great person. Obviously cares enough about people to, check in and like give a shit and stuff like that. So he didn't have to, like I said, he didn't have to say or do all that for me, but he did anyways, just because. So, and it had nothing to do with this case or anything like that. So just outside of all this mess, just know that he's still a good person, So
very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashley looks so gorgeous here.
I was about to say.
I mean, I'm not saying she does in other places, but we're seeing this picture. She just looks beautiful.
I was about to say they look very happy together, and that's probably part of the anger that's going on. Loud little ducky. Hey, what's going on? How's it going? All right, let's get into this real quick. This is from the victimsoflauraowens.com website. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. I know I've showed it on my stream yet, but if you haven't like gone to the actual website yet, let me show it to you right here. All right, so if you go to victimsoflauraowens.com, you can see all of this stuff. This is just the documents tab. We can go back to the homepage. Laura pays up, countdown 8 days. Wow, that's really soon.
I don't think that's going to be happening.
No, of course not.
What is that emoji?
Oh, this is cool. I like this picture.
Emoji?
What is that emoji? Hang on.
There's something where it says enter.
Oh, that's Clayton. Yeah, or the crying. The crying emoji or the silhouette?
Yeah, I was looking at that. I couldn't tell what it was.
Oh. Yeah, there's a cry next to the enter. Yeah.
Oh my.
And there's all about Laura Owens, Clayton Echard, Greg Gillespie, Michael Marraccini, other victims, documents coverage, donate, blog, that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Anyways, that's where I got this from. It was posted on the subreddit, and let me move out of that. Okay. I skipped over the first page because it's just like clerical stuff, so I'm not gonna really mess with that.
Is there a way to zoom in so we can use some of this gray space?
Yeah.
And it also here it says what the court has found. Okay, so I wanted to speak to this. In Arizona, like 99% of these preliminary requests are granted. It's basically to cover the court's ass in case something actually happens, right? But this has yet to be approved, right? Just so everyone understands that.
Okay.
Like, I mean, the preliminary thing is standing, but once they have whatever the process is, the hearing where they're like, Laura's going to try to get this like solidified or permanent for whatever the 2 years. That's when this will become like the 2-year thing, if that makes sense.
Okay. So this is temporary right now, pending.
We can see it as
hearing.
temporary, right? And I think you call him. Do you call him Natus?
Patrick.
Patrick. Okay.
Yeah,
Patrick. Sorry.
Patrick or Natus.
Okay. So I think he made a comment on the sub that addressed what I was thinking of saying tonight, is that basically none of the stuff she claims in this meets a I don't know legal jargon very well. But it doesn't meet the criteria for this to be granted, basically, is the basic gist of that. So I think it's going to be very difficult for her to get this approved. And he also mentions, I'm sure he'll talk about when he comes on, that she could then go for an injunction against harassment, which is more likely to be given than this. So the fact that this is out here is just like literally all of them are always approved. So this isn't really like a big deal. It's just it's just how they process things there, basically.
Yeah, this is like, hey, let's just put a blanket protection in place until we can figure everything out. Because otherwise you don't want someone, getting murdered while the judge is waiting to figure everything out.
Exactly. Which in people who are actually in fucking danger, unlike Laura Owens, in my opinion, that's really helpful for them to have. It's a matter of life and death, actually, in a lot of the cases. Which is just so
for
funny. This is
liability
someone
and
who wants
safety,
nothing.
they do an expedited mode. And so you're saying the next step would be some sort of hearing.
That's my understanding. And also, Greg Gillespie has the option to deny this, whatever, with the written request for denial of this. And then I think it says within 5 to 10 days of that written request, there would be a hearing held. So that's one where he would present his evidence and say, this is why this is all total fucking bullshit and you shouldn't grant it.
Right. Okay. I'm sure the criminal investigation, if that's still happening, will not help her case. So.
No, and guys, reach out to Rachel Mitchell on wherever, Instagram, if you're on there, on X, if you're on there, tag her, share this, let her know what's going on. The more people, the better. This isn't like a pile on of Laura. It's just a statement of the facts. Right. And if multiple people state the facts, like that's legal. That's okay.
Yeah, because I think everybody's waiting. There's this appeal in process of the Clayton case. And, if that appeal is rejected and there, it doesn't go any further, they're basically done. But the county attorney still has potentially an open investigation. So there are other things happening. And then this as well.
Yes. Yeah. And other things. Other things. So on this one, like you're talking about the first couple of pages, Lauren. So basically all this is granting right now is a no contact order.
Right there. You see the X.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the firearms or anything. That's just no contact for now.
Okay. Okay, so what are these other boxes saying? Defendant received actual notice of this hearing and had an opportunity to participate. There's no X there. Law enforcement standby. Okay. Defendant may return once with law enforcement to obtain necessary. Okay, that's obviously not necessary. They went on like 1 or 2 dates, right? 3 dates maybe? Right?
Two known dates, and the third she invited herself to.
Okay, and she later claims it was like 5 or something.
Right.
Protected locations. Defendant shall not go to or near plaintiffs or others protected persons' residence. There's an X on that, and then other address protected. Like, why would he want to do that? He clearly wants to get away from you.
Is that other the same address or a different address?
I don't know. It says address protected, so
we don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
It might be the same address though. But we don't know.
I'm assuming it's her home address.
Right, but 2 boxes are checked, right?
Right, and other,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if other was like berries, for example. Because she goes all the time. Like she has been
Mike around berries.
She has been seen there by people recently. She's there often.
Well, I know Layla when she was last on the stream said that she was in the same place as her at the same time at berries.
Yes, so. Exactly.
Here we go.
Honestly, I don't think anyone's going to be going to berries anytime soon. So berries might want to think about that if they're interested in getting more membership numbers.
If you want to work out, I got some blackberry vines need to be removed from my property. It's a good workout. Anybody can come by and help me do that.
Bruce, that's not the berries we were talking about.
Well, I'm just saying.
Berries. With an A. Berries.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So here we have, it says the firearms law is not checked. Animals is not checked. Other orders, no contact included. No contact from third parties or via social media. As if he has tried to. He has not, by the way. Okay, it says, warning, this is an official court order. If you disobey this order, you may be arrested and prosecuted for the crime of interfering with judicial proceedings and any other crime you may have committed in disobeying this order. Okay. Notice if you disagree with this order, you have the right to request a hearing, which will be held within 5 to 10 business days after your written request has been filed in the court that issued this order. Violations of this order should be reported to law enforcement agency, not the court. Well, best believe she'll report it to both. Each party must notify this court if an action or for dissolution, divorce, as if he needs a divorce, separation, annulment, or paternity/maternity is filed. This is not a parenting time, visitation, or custody legal decision-making order. Okay.
Right.
You must file those requests separately in superior court. So I guess he can't get custody of their fake kids, so that's probably devastating.
Oh no.
Additional warnings to defendant. Nothing the plaintiff does can stop, change, or undo this order without the court's written approval. You must appear in court to ask a judge to change, modify, or dismiss, quash this order.
This is the thing where if she, like, same thing with Mike, if she was like, Mike, I'm so sorry, or Mike, I want to fucking talk on the phone about this hearing coming up on June 10th, like, get on the phone with me. Or she says, meet me in person, like, I have something really important to tell you, I want to settle things, like, I'll talk about dropping, the restraining order against you both. So Mike shows up thinking, like, even with a friend, thinking like, oh man, like, okay, let's see what she has to say. He shows up at the same place as her. She can call in and report that.
Right.
So I just think that's again for people who really need it. Like,
yeah. But here we've got 1 or 2 addresses that he has to stay very far away from,
right.
Or
sure he was already doing that.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna have more police calls, I guess.
Right.
Oh, God. I mean, you know how they love the police calls and the body cam footage and all that.
It's like she just thinks that like if she documents everything, that's what matters. Like she has evidence, and it's like, well, does it have any substance? Does it make sense? Fucking no, well, it doesn't.
Recently, I know that she and her attorney had claimed there was a prank police call to their place or whatever, wherever she was. And I'm like, well, if that's true, there will be body cam footage. So now we'll know if you're lying or not, So
right, or you can call it if you know the day that it happened. You can request calls for that day for a certain address or whatever. Like,
wait, what body cam footage for a prank phone call? What?
Evidently, there was a prank police call or something.
If for example, if they were calling for a wellness check and they said, like, you really need to send someone to blah, blah, blah address to check on this person. If they're saying like that kind of thing happened, then there would probably be body cam footage. Now it's happened where there wasn't body cam footage, where it was just a phone call.
Okay.
So it just kind of depends. I think it depends on the officers on call. It depends on the severity.
We know how the officers
are harder
out there,
unless you record them, right? So yeah.
The officers out there are apparently trash, because I was so mad the one time we saw the body cam footage and they didn't even check on her. And it was like, what if she was actually dead in there? Like, you're a bitch for not checking
exactly. On that. It's that was really disappointing to see, because none of us want her to like be in there like trying to do something to herself, and especially if she had actually been pregnant, right, when some people called. So we would want them to go and, first of all, just do your job, do it right, and second of all, make sure she's okay.
Right. Like, I mean, nobody, like, they keep saying that we want her dead. Nobody wants her dead. Like, what are you talking about? It's insane. Zach, thank you for the $2. Ralphie, gotta go. Just saying hi. Well, thank you for stopping by, Zach. I appreciate that. Also, it reminds me, I forgot to set my super chat target, which I always forget to set that. We'll do like 10 at like $2. Let's do that.
They should give you like a reminder when you start streaming or something. Like,
right?
Hey, don't
they probably do, and I just don't notice it.
I think the verbiage the lawyer always uses is like, destroy her life. And it's like, what does that even mean? It's so subjective. And if there's like a prank phone call or this prank flyer that they were complaining about, that's like a prank. Go find who did the prank.
Right.
And
if we make
tell
it to
them
10,
to stop.
If we make it to 10, Bruce and I have to dance.
What? Together?
I'll do it too, I swear.
Together,
Like a slow dance together.
Yes, a slow dance together.
Careless Whisper or Lady in Red?
But which one of us would be the guy?
Lauren, I vote Lauren.
Your choice.
Oh God, swoon. All right.
I'll sing for you guys.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, you have to
Anyway,
sing
like
you have to sing while we dance. We'll dance to your
I
singing.
don't know.
There we go.
Like I feel like because there's this public court case, like Clayton or Laura, they could get trolls. Like because that's what happens on the internet. But that doesn't mean there's like a cult or something. It's just ridiculous.
Right.
Like if there's a troll, go find the troll and deal with the troll. Like I agree with that.
Right.
But you know, generalizing it to like, oh,
everybody.
A whole community wants to destroy her life. Like, no, it's not right.
Rosalind Duke, I'm here. I'm listening, having a moment. Just need to hear familiar voices. Well, hi, Rosalind. Thank you for coming by. Appreciate you.
Hope everything is okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Rosalind.
If
you're not feeling well. Karen Carson, thank you for the $2. Dance monkeys, monies, dance.
Oh boy.
Well, 9
Make
other
them
comrades need to join you for us to dance. Snitzel Ninja will sing Riding Dirty, and Bruce and I will dance to it.
What's that? I don't know Riding Dirty. What's that? Riding
Do you know
Dirty.
What song do you know? Like
I know literally the only Lady in Red. That's all I know of that song.
That's
I'll just
what
sing
about,
it over and over.
Yeah by Usher.
Yeah.
You know that one?
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
That's a slow dance?
No, we're not slow dancing, Bruce.
What kind of dancing are we doing?
Like weird club dancing when you don't know how to dance, when you're like feeling.
We're riding. Wait, is it like we're riding dirty?
That one works. That's Riding Dirty. Yeah. No. And then we have what else do we have? Let's think.
Schnitzel only sings orchestral numbers.
I don't know how to do these.
What's an orchestral number?
I don't know either, dude.
I don't have the wide angle lens on my camera. I don't know if I can.
Oh, I can sing I Like Big Butts.
Yes.
Baby got
there
back.
we go. Yes.
I would need to be portrait mode. Oh no. Sir Mix-a-Lot.
She'll sing Sir Mix-a-Lot and we'll do
Oh no.
Oh
Nick
my
O'Brien.
God. Becky.
Nick O'Brien, thank you for the $2. It says
Damn it,
dance. Nick. Yes, Nick. Yes, we're at 2 out of 10. We gotta get 10. All right.
Nick is supposed to be protecting me.
Singing.
He's not helping.
Yes, I will sing the orchestral number where there is no singing.
All right, let's continue to move on while we wait to see if anyone wants us to dance and sing for them. Okay. Defendant/plaintiff relationship. Choose the options that best describe your relationship to the defendant. If you are applying on behalf of another person, choose the relationship between the other person and defendant.
Oh boy.
I feel like that's a weird thing to. I mean, I guess maybe if you have like a young daughter or something, but at the same time, it's like if you're applying on behalf of another person, I feel like that could do some damage.
Did Jan fill this out?
Maybe. Nah, come on. This is Laura's writing.
I mean, you could have an elderly parent that, you know, maybe they have dementia. You could have a youth.
A youth. A youth.
I don't know.
Winks, thank you for the $2.
I mean, these are form letters. These are form letters. They're just covering all the bases, right? It's it's like doing your taxes. Did you donate a
$250,000?
Did you receive a C4 6823 form 69? No, I didn't. But you know, you just move along.
No, I didn't.
You just move it along.
All right, I'm gonna give Winks a preview because she's a mod and she also donated $2, and I feel like she's doing double time. So dance for your $1.
Okay. Oh.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's like the Pulp Fiction.
That was like the whole thing. That's my only moves, to be honest. So, all right. Okay. So
you did this whole thing like.
She marked, of course, she marked romantic or sexual relationship, past or present. Whoa.
Right.
Tell the judge what happened and why you need this order. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can all see better.
Oh, yeah. We need to
zoom in on the lies.
Okay. Let's see. Tell the judge what happened and why you need this order. Print both the dates and a brief description of what happened. If there is a contested hearing, a judge can consider only what you write here. Oh, so nothing else.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Look at Drunkest Turtle.
There's a lot here. Wait, who's the drunkest turtle?
Drunkest turtle.
You are the drunkest turtle.
With a bacon dancer dancing for money.
Dance like you're sizzling in the pan, Lauren.
Wait, are they a drunk space turtle though, or are they a terrestrial turtle?
She's just a drunk turtle.
Are they extra or just a
Space into
terrestrial?
this, Bruce?
What?
Who brought space into this? She's just a drunk turtle.
Petitioner's lawyer did.
That's true.
When he called us all drunk space turtles.
Suppose that's true. Okay, that gets us to 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Thank you very much. All right, let's see. On September 28th, 2023, a Reddit user under the handle Redacted posted an order of protection against me, one that Greg Gillespie obtained in August 2021. That's a flex, right? Just a day after I filed a civil lawsuit against him for abortion coercion.
What?
This order was never served, meaning it was never legally in effect.
Because you avoided it, you motherfucking bitch.
Right.
Jeez.
According to Manny
How
Vargas.
bullshit is that? I mean, like, he's man enough to like be places and to get served, and she fucking hid out in her little casita.
She hid in the casita or whatever, and they couldn't find her.
What a fucking pussy!
Is that what
Come
happened?
on, answer for your sins, Laura.
Oh my goodness.
Stephanie B, thank you for the $2. I want to see some booty shaking. All right, well, that means we're halfway to 10. We have 5 now. We're halfway to 10. All right. Anyways, Manny Vargas, and we've been over this before, guys, I'm sure. Because I remember that name, and I remember how much she was putting on him, and I was like, he was probably just like, yes, ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
2 questions. I wonder if he knew he was being recorded, because she makes a big fucking fuss about that later on.
Probably not, no.
And second, I wonder if she farted on the call.
I don't know. I know she farted in the Brett from Ravgen.
I don't want to know.
Don't you know already? Patrick was the one who pointed that out to us.
Well, he can examine these recordings then, not me.
Well, Patrick,
I give that honor to him.
Patrick pointed out to us that she was farting like profusely throughout the call with Brett from Ravgen. That one of them posted. I can't remember who.
I may or may not have done like a minus, 0.5 speed on that call to hear.
Oh boy,
a deep fart.
Karen Carson, thank you for the $2 because you motherfucking batch is classic. Okay.
Ooh.
That's 6. All right. Let's see.
So do we know how the Reddit user under this redacted handle got this document?
Well, she's going to claim here that Greg is the only person who could have possibly have gotten it.
Sure.
I don't think that's true. Those are public documents. So
I don't know. I don't know if that one technically is because it wasn't served. So it's basically like in the filing system in the court files, but I don't know that you could actually request it.
Who would have received a copy of it?
He would have, and it's possible that she did. I don't know if they left anything on her, door or anything like I don't know. Notice that they tried to serve. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
This
wasn't filed by an attorney or something, or a law firm?
I think it was filed pro se.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was.
I'm quoting you.
Is it? I think the document is on that website you showed, the Victims of Laura Owens one. I think.
Okay, hang on.
So if I draft up an order of protection form and I file it, and it can't be served to someone because they're hiding out, am I not allowed to post it on the internet?
I mean, yeah, you're totally allowed to share it.
What are we looking for here?
So what's the problem here, I guess?
We're looking for the OOP against Laura.
Yeah, it looks like. Are you on the documents page?
I am, yeah.
It looks like it's that CC 2021-129159. It's like the top one. I think that's OOP against Owens.
Yeah, that's just a bunch of letters that you just said.
I mean, if you draft it and you submit it to the court and they try and serve it and they can't, and you put it on the internet, how is that harassment? Like, that's just the First Amendment.
It is if you're a little bitch.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why she's complaining about it in this first text box.
No, I know. I mean, I got. Everything here is just like okay, and
I know. I mean, somebody in chat's going to be like, "Bruce, you're being too logical. Stop." I know that. I know how this works.
Those are the 2 documents I just shared in chat.
Okay.
Of
Gotcha.
those.
All right. Well, we've seen this here, and then I think there was a different. What was it? We're looking at it now. Documents. Greg Gillespie, and then I clicked on this, or I think it's Laura, and the petition. Is that what we're looking at?
I don't know which one it is, but it's one of those 2. Those are both related to the one that he filed against her.
Okay, here it is. You guys can read that? Okay. The defendant and I went on 3 dates. We had a sexual relationship one evening. I politely ended the relationship 9 days after our first encounter. She did not take the rejection well, at which point I understood, listened, but politely let her know that there will not have a future relationship together and to stop contacting me. She
just continued... for context, this is Greg's document now.
Yes.
Okay. In effect, it's effective 1/1/2020.
She continued to harass me for 48 hours. I asked her to stop reaching out. 24 hours went by with no contact. Only 24 hours. 11 days after we were sexually intimate, she sent me a photo of a positive pregnancy test, though we used 2 forms of protection during our one encounter. She continued to harass me via text messages through 14 different email accounts and iMessages, all of which I have since blocked. She threatened to reach out to my family, located them on public records, reached out to my mother, threatened to expose me on her Apple iTunes self-help podcast. How's that going, Laura? How's that? She sent me photoshopped images of an ultrasound that is from an article on Google dated January 12th, 2015. I had an OBGYN confirm this ultrasound she is claiming to be hers of twins is an exact from the Google article from 2015. Laura Owens, defendant, has shown up to my home 2 times.
Definitely, I read that as Laura Owens definitely has shown up to my
right.
Oh boy.
Shown up to my home 2 times after being asked not to come there. After blocking all 14 iMessage accounts, which she has continually harassed me from since July 9th, she now is reaching out to me, making threats of lawsuits to my work email address. She has contacted the HR department in my company to confirm my email address and is threatening my career and reputation at my place of work as of yesterday and today. She is showing no sign of stopping. The defendant is stating she is in love with me after 3 dates, roughly 2 hours each date, and is promising to have an abortion and dismiss pressing charges if I commit to loving her, marrying her, and starting a family with her within the next 2 years. I have repeatedly asked the defendant to stop contacting myself, my family, and my place of work, and to also stop coming to my home, banging on my door, and ringing my doorbell. I have all text messages and emails saved. I also have photographs of her outside my home trying to contact me. I'm scared for my reputation and safety, and it is time to serve her a legal order of protection. And of course, she dodged the service on this.
This alone, just that, I feel like that was so well written. Like it was such a great synopsis of like, how are more people not covering this story? Just reading that, if anyone read that, you're like, what the fuck? Holy shit, is this real?
If I had to guess, I mean, it's just because, we wouldn't have seen this unless the Clayton thing came up. So, why wouldn't anyone else know about it?
Yeah. It's
especially because this guy's not like he's very private in that he doesn't want to draw attention to this stuff. It's just that he has to because of what she's done.
Exactly, because she's still trying to destroy his reputation and his life.
Teresa says yodel. Did we address that yet? Did we read this one yet?
I don't know how to yodel.
Teresa, thank you for the $2. That's the best I can do. But Teresa, thank you very much. That is what, 7 out of 10? Okay, cool.
You're like shit.
I'm a moose, not a Swiss mountain goat.
7 out of 10. So 3 more, and Bruce and I have to dance to Schnitzel Ninja singing.
I don't know how I got roped into all this.
I thought you said you would, Lady in Red.
I mean, I will, but
oh my!
I reserve the right to complain about it while dancing.
Definitely do it at the same time as you're dancing.
Yeah.
Make it great.
Oh man, what was the Netflix movie with the guy from the British guy, the comic, who was being stalked by the lady?
Oh, Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, I mean that's what this whole paragraph reminds me of. Is that
yeah, 100%.
It's almost even crazier.
Yeah. And Laura has seen that. She acknowledged on one of Jingy's videos.
Which one did she see? This
Baby Reindeer.
About what?
Oh,
That
Baby
she watched
Reindeer.
it?
Yeah.
That she watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is, to be in her head watching that. Is she thinking like,
guys?
Oh, is she like, oh, that's very similar to me, or is she like, oh, that's a good idea, I should have done that?
I actually, this is unpopular opinion, I think, but I actually disagree. I don't think that she's like Baby Reindeer at all. I think the person in Baby Reindeer had a legitimate mental illness, and I don't think Laura does.
Oh, interesting. So
I mean, I'm not saying she's not mentally ill. I'm just saying she doesn't have a mental illness.
The real person that the Baby Reindeer was modeled after has mental illness? And what mental illness do you think?
I mean, she seems obviously like she seems, and based on what I've read and seen, like, but she seems obviously schizophrenic to me. That's what she seems to me. So, like, I can't obviously I can't give her a diagnosis, but like, if I had to form an opinion based on what I've seen from her, like Piers Morgan interview and all that, she seems schizophrenic to me. Like, she seems legitimately delusional. I think that person is actually very sick. I don't think Laura is very sick. I think Laura is just a personality disordered individual who will do anything and everything to get her way because it always works out for her. And until somebody, the county attorney, puts a stop to that, it's going to continue happening. So
that's very interesting. Yeah, there may be completely different medical or psychological issues. I think my point was just reading the synopsis where Greg is very matter-of-factly going through. It's like you can tell a guy wrote it because it's very action. Like there's 14 accounts and these text messages, and someone showed up at this time at this place. It's very
there's no flowery language.
Yeah, like it's very procedural and pointed. And when I read about those events seem similar to the physical events that occurred in at least the Netflix show I watched. But you're right, when you peel back the layers, the people behind those actions may have completely different medical and or psychological diagnoses. And that's a good point.
Yeah. I feel like there's some people have an excuse for what they've done. They use it as an excuse. And I feel like some people have an explanation for what they've done. It's a legitimate disease, that kind of thing. So
Sure.
And Laura has about 20 medical diagnoses that she'll probably try to blame this on.
Which one today, I mean, we'll see. Just depends on the consequences, I guess. It's like, all right, fine, I'll be autistic now.
Right.
And then what about when
Rachel Mitchell today?
Well, when Rachel Mitchell comes around, all right, fine, I'm schizophrenic.
It's crazy. And it's crazy too, to me, like, I mean, it's not crazy because on one hand, Gingras does what he has to as a lawyer for his client. And I get that. I know they have to say certain things because it's their client. But on the other hand, behind closed doors, he has admitted that he thinks she's mentally ill.
I know he says that Wooding lied about that, right?
I mean, well, we saw that in the payment plan documentation, right?
Yeah, it's not a fucking lie. He can try to lie all he wants to like the empty void that gives a shit about anything he says. Well, but it's not a lie.
And to your original statement where it's like, okay, once, I don't know. He's doing this appeal for free. He doesn't have to do that. So it's not like he has to do certain things. He's not being paid to provide a service. So he actually doesn't have to do it. He's choosing to do it.
But at this point, I mean,
yeah. So I think that's kind of interesting.
I mean, I've said it many times. I think he's still in this to try to make a name for himself in the legal world. I think he's trying to impress. I know you don't want to talk about certain things on the stream, Lauren.
Hey, listen, you can say what you want. I just personally, I won't respond to it or talk about it if I don't want to. So
I think he's trying to impress his daddy.
Okay.
I think that he is hoping that that if he wins based on this Rule 26 bullshit, that his this case is going to go down in history in Arizona as like setting a new precedent for this, because nothing exists that supports what he's claiming.
Right.
I think that and if you look at the in my opinion, piece of scum that he represented in the prior case, his very tall best friend.
Oh boy.
I think, I don't know, certain people attract certain people, certain types of people, and I think he is one of those people. And I think that he's in it just for himself, for notoriety.
Hey, can
and
we
that's my opinion.
let's ask the opinion of a lawyer I found on LOL Cow. How
Nice.
I
mean, I think where you were going, Reality Steve did a live stream
Patrick,
earlier
you're on the
today.
screen.
There he is.
Oh yeah, I haven't
what's up?
watched it yet. Hey.
Reality Steve did a live stream earlier today with Rachel Juarez, and I think she said kind of the same thing. Hey, maybe this guy is going after this sort of published precedent, tactic here. Which,
I think everything he does is motivated by selfishness, and how can he do something for himself? That's my opinion. Why didn't you sue me for it? You sue everybody else.
Ziani,
no, don't, please don't.
Hey, Daddy, look at me. I'm a real lawyer now.
I'm just
how's it going,
moose.
Ziani? Well,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was motivation.
Guys, I have to pee, so I'm gonna be right back.
But, why don't you take us with you?
What are we supposed to be going back to the original?
Yeah, we will. Give me one second.
So again, to the audience, this was granted, and then 3 times she avoided being served, and then at that point, 3 times, and then at that point it went away because they couldn't serve it.
That blows my mind that you can just hide in the basement and
I'll be right
people
back.
Can't serve you. Is this
Wait,
normal?
Yeah, can you explain that again? That I think I missed the beginning of that.
I keep forgetting I changed my profile picture. I'm just gonna leave it.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Real quick, am I echoing? Is your guys's?
No, you sound fine.
All right, cool. Wait, who avoided service?
Laura did. So this that we were just talking about is the order that Greg Gillespie had filed against her for an order of protection, and it was back in 2020, I think, right? Why did it say effective?
It says it at the bottom where she lists it all out.
Okay, and this says 9/24/2022. That makes sense because
this is the new one.
Oh, this is the new one. Okay.
It still says it in the new one though. Like she puts it in the bottom.
Okay, great. So yeah. So in that one, he tried to have her. It was granted, and he tried to have her served 3 times, and she avoided being served. And then at that point, it just didn't. It went away because they couldn't serve her.
I read something interesting on this form where it was talking about how it has to be honored in different states. And it said like despite not being recorded or something like that. So it made me wonder, like, if someone avoids process, can you just, publish it in a newspaper like you would, so anyone else who avoids service?
Oh, or on Reddit.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's a large enough platform. I mean, welcome back home, Bruce, by the way.
Well, yeah. I mean, thank you. This is the complaint here in her new document, right? In this first text box. She's complaining that Greg posted this original unserved document, an order of protection, right? And she thinks he posted it on Reddit because nobody else would have a copy of it.
Because she evaded service.
Yeah, because she, I mean, she says the order
she's like, I couldn't
was never served. I mean, and it's like, well.
Also, if he did, so fucking what? He's allowed to. And you're a little bitch for avoiding it.
Well, that was the point I was trying to get to, is maybe in this text box, maybe she explains why she thinks this is such a crime. Like, to just, like, if you draft a order of protection and the court approves it but never serves it,
let's go lay down.
Isn't it your right to publish it?
Right. She says it's harassment and he's trying to harm her reputation and cause distress.
Well, but the court signed it and they were trying to serve it.
Right.
So I think to Patrick's point, like the fact that maybe he put it on Reddit or he gave it to someone who put it on Reddit or something, we don't know. But let's just say, for sake of argument, that he did. How is that any different than, someone from the 1800s publishing something in the newspaper because there's no, service, there's no internet, there's no, right?
Probably goes to intent, though. Like your intent to publish it in the newspaper is because she's evading service.
Yes.
But if your intent to give it to redacted is, harassment based, then it's not gonna I don't think you can hide behind
Reddit?
I was just trying to serve her.
I see.
But you could also say, like, I'm trying to share the truth about this serial abuser so that more people don't get abused in the future. So people know the truth.
How does posting it to Reddit manifest as harassment?
Well, first of all, he didn't post it. Like, this is all allegations.
Well, we don't know who posted it, but let's just assume he did.
Okay. If he just posts it to Reddit if it's with the intent to harass or embarrass or annoy, and this is a fun one. So the statute for harassment, like via words, is that it has to be objectively reasonable, like to an average person, that what's being done is being done to harass. But maybe there's an argument to say, well, a reasonable person would see this and be like, oh shit, there's a restraining order against me. Or versus her subjective belief that it was done to harass her. But
so let's say he posted this on Reddit. To prove it was harassment, we would need something else, like something that indicates motive.
Right.
Because the fact that it was unserved and someone posted it, to me, says that there's an alternate explanation, which is just, I want to explain a court document that was actually signed and inform people that it was unserved as information, as opposed to harassment.
I'm curious if the posting, I assume it is if it went through our community, but I'm curious if the original posting had her name redacted, because in that case, it almost by definition can't be for harassment.
And I don't know it, because
2023.
That was
names
probably
being
like
redacted then?
That must have been either like one of the Bachelor subreddits at that point in time.
Oh,
because I don't think our Laura Owens was a sub yet.
Oh, in 2023.
At that point in September. At
It
that
was
point
one
in
of the
2023.
one of the two big Bachelor subs.
That's what I think, but I'm not. I mean, I'm just trying to think back.
Right.
To then.
Because originally there were sort of two big Bachelor subs.
Right.
Well, anything that got posted, and clearly if this was significant enough, it was the first paragraph in her diatribe, like it would be something that I think she would have gotten taken down. And that's not mentioned in here. So if it wasn't able to be taken down, I would assume that all identifying information was redacted.
Yeah.
And also that's just like how our community rolls.
That's a good question.
Like, it is wild that I still have to call her LO. It's just wild.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I even me personally, I posted a court video. This is back when I started my channel. I posted a publicly available court video with her name in the title, and she reported it and got it taken down. So I can only assume that she is probably reporting everything, every single thing that had her name, had anything about her in it. So I mean, and so then I edited it and removed the name. And in the future ones, I did that for a very long time. It was ridiculous that YouTube took it down.
It is insane.
Interesting. Okay, so there's something here. Like, to me, it's not like a slam dunk. You would have to have something here that indicates that whoever posted this was doing it with some sort of motive.
Right. It's just her opinion. She has nothing to support that other than saying like, well,
I guess
know this.
that's where my mind is trying to, as we read through it, that's what my mind is trying to figure out. Can I find that clear evidence of that motive? Is that what's required?
This is what
Was it
she's done.
redacted?
Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to
I see
interrupt
what you're
you.
saying.
No,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I feel like this is how she's written every single one of these kinds of things. It's
Oh.
just like all of these claims about like, oh, this happened and it was this and they were doing it because of that. Like, but there's never really any evidence that any of it actually happened.
Yeah. Or it's sort of like, well, it could be, but is it? And
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
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 I'm just constantly trying to be convinced.
Mhm.
And it's tough.
Yeah.
Hito is here. Hi, Hito. If
Yeah.
you guys don't know Hito,
Hito.
she's featured in a lot of David's videos. She
Oh,
came
boy.
on my stream once, so
He's got a
everybody shows
crush
some
on
love to our
Hito.
friend here. It certainly seems that way. Yeah. I'm so jealous.
Beautiful.
Ew.
He's in his like negging phase of the courtship.
That's the best phase.
Be mean to girls and they'll like me.
Yeah.
I think I might be doing it wrong.
It's like in 5th grade, you throw some snowballs at them and
Right
off
in
you
the
go.
fucking right in the middle of the face.
What?
Right in the puss.
Oh, jeez. Remind me not to get in a snowball fight with you guys.
Yeah,
that would be
you Snitchel, you go straight for dick shots in the snowball fight? Absolutely
Oh,
not.
no.
Not straight. No, I gain the trust and then I go for the dick shot.
There's always a point in a snowball fight where someone takes it too far.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'd rather it be me than it taken too far on me. So
You're like, I'm just gonna put this big rock in here. It's technically
Seriously.
still snow.
Dang.
oh my god, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
You should go to the hospital.
Do you need me to drive you?
See, that, if it was your partner, would be domestic violence.
According to Manny Vargas, only Schnitzel Ninja has rocks.
Oh,
What? What?
I don't know. What?
It's too many
It's like, did
callbacks.
someone say that in chat?
oh my
Girls do have gonads, y'all.
What?
Did you know that?
Ovaries?
I was being a little
Yeah.
literal with the rock, not figurative.
No, but it just so I remember, I don't know what grade was it. It was 10th grade biology maybe, and we were talking about this, and I had never really, I guess, thought much about my ovaries. Like I knew, I guess I had them, and that girls had them. And anyway, we were talking about body parts and about, how the balls for guys will drop and those are their gonads. And that then my teacher said that like the ovaries are the gonads for women. And I I blurted out, girls have gonads too in my class. And I remember feeling so embarrassed, but I was honestly, my mind was blown like, what?
It's a reasonable question.
So I do have rocks. We all have rocks, guys.
Anyways, moving on. Have we started reading this petition yet or no?
This is
Here
all
all
my
night.
fault. I apologize, Lauren.
She
I
can-
mean, we read
yeah,
through
we're good.
so in the text box for 927, we got to
the second sentence now.
we got to the part where it wasn't served and nobody, not even I, could have obtained it directly.
Okay, so meaning it was never legally in effect? Is that it?
It was unserved.
Nobody either in. Okay, it was unserved. Where are we here?
So
Snitch-
Mandy
Erica,
confirmed in
she's
a recorded
snitching
phone
from the
call.
block.
Oh, boy.
Only Greg would have access to the unserved document. Is that what we're talking about? Not even I, as the
Mhm.
named party, could have obtained it directly.
Mhm.
Manny confirmed in a recorded phone call on October 3rd, 2023, that Greg had not only picked up a paper copy of this order in person, but had also requested that it be emailed to him. This timeline is significant because the post appeared on Reddit the same day that Greg collected the document from the court, demonstrating a clear chain of events.
How does she know it wasn't Manny?
I don't fucking know. Greg's own admission to the police that he collected the document aligns directly with the Reddit post appearing shortly thereafter, indicating he was either directly involved in or indirectly facilitated its leak. This action
to the police?
It's not a leak.
I mean, if it's a document you filed, how is it a leak?
Exactly. And it's not like it was sealed. Like she tried to falsely claim about other.
Yeah. Like if Greg had an employer and they had a work document and that was supposed to be a corporate confidential document and he put it on Reddit, that would be a leak.
Right.
This is not a leak.
Where is his admission that he collected the document?
Right.
there isn't one.
Is there a police report? Because I was assumed that they went out and
I mean, there's a sentence here that says Greg's own admission to the police.
I think
where is
what
it?
she's saying is because the
citation
police have to serve it.
What's that?
I think she's saying because the police have to serve it on her,
Oh.
that that's just, it's too dumb for words.
Why?
Because she's based. I mean, I don't know actually. Like, it maybe the police did go out and be like, "Hey, Greg, was this you?" And he was like, "No, but I have it." I don't know why he would offer that, but another interpretation is that because the police had to, like, you can't serve the restraining order on your own. Like, that's the whole point of service, to have a third party.
Okay.
And typically it's the police.
It is?
Especially if you want it for free.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if she's saying that Greg got the order, brought it to the police, and we're like, "Hey, serve this," and that is the admission, that is wild.
Why?
Because
isn't that just how that works?
Admission. It's
Right.
An admission of what? She's saying it's an admission of the fact that he was the one who posted it? No, it's just an admission that he had possession of the document.
It's his order of protection he's filing. Of course he's going to have a copy of it.
Right. Yeah. And so the police is just in there, I think, as a buzzword.
Yeah. I mean, the way it's written is very specific to manipulate the way a reader who's not familiar with the situation might interpret it. Right? That's what you're saying is wild. Like, the facts around this are kind of mundane. The way it's written and the English language used is written in a way to sort of infer something through storytelling, right? That is sort of wilder than the mundane facts.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's very similar to what we saw in these Lively Baldoni things, I think, that we were talking about before.
God, which one?
I don't know. But
there's a lot. Yeah, I heard there's a lot.
All right, where do we get to? Demonstrating clear chain of events. Greg's own admission to the police that he collected the document aligns directly with the Reddit post, appearing shortly thereafter, indicating he was either directly involved or indirectly facilitated his leak. This action, retrieving the document, then either posting it himself or allowing it to be posted publicly, is not an isolated incident, but part of a broader pattern of harassment where Greg
Can we pause for a
continually
second?
Yeah.
Allowing it to be posted is different than the statute, which requires him to knowingly cause the posting. Allowing means nothing.
Allowing. So if I have a document and I give it to my friend Nick, and I'm like, and Nick posts it on Reddit in some, and Nick's intent is to
Nick
harass
sees it,
someone.
is like, "This is crazy. Can I post this?"
Let's say Nick's intent is literally to harass someone, and I never tell Nick to go harass anyone. Am I allowing it to be posted? And that's different?
No. Well, wait. I think
you said it's different.
I mean, I think that if so the base facts of your situation is the act of handing the document over to someone else.
Okay.
There's no, you have to define intent at that time. If your intent is just like, "This is some crazy shit," Nick O'Brien is like, I want to see it. And you're like, I mean, there's a conversation to be had there. I don't think someone is like, "Hey, read this. This is crazy. And now let's never talk again." Like, typically there's context. So if the context is, "Hey, just read how crazy this shit is," and then Nick goes and posts it, the intent was not for him to post it. It was for him to read it.
Right.
So there's no harass. The intent is not.
I think that's the problem here. When she says there's a broader pattern of harassment, I'm not seeing the evidence of that.
Words.
Yeah.
What?
Words.
It's not, we don't even get to the pattern because we can't even get to harassment.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. That's what I mean. I'm trying to find it and I don't see it here yet.
She assumes the harassment so that we focus on the pattern. And I am Greg. I just want everyone to know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Me too.
I don't know if you can move people around, but you can move him up so we can.
You want to move?
Because you got the comments on the screen.
Oh yeah, if I move that,
Bring him up.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, where are we at? Right here. I forgot.
Could you put us across the top? Is that possible?
I wish I could, but I have to do something with like a custom layout, and I can't do that quickly.
Gotcha. Can we super chat Lauren so she can get the premium SteamYard, please?
Wow.
The premium.
Wait, this should be it, right? Isn't it? Otherwise, it would have the duck in the corner. Like,
yeah.
Who's got a doorbell?
Dude, somebody just rang my.
Oh my god.
My door?
Oh my god.
Is Laura swatting me?
Take a knife.
The knives are downstairs. I'll be right.
What's your camera hooked up to? Oh my god.
Your mom's chest hair. I don't know.
Oh, what? No, bring your camera to the door, Lauren. We need to.
I know. I'm a little. I hope she peeks before she answers.
Does she have a wireless headset?
I don't know. Maybe should I call her?
I can keep reading. I think we're at the.
You're
I want to know who's at the door
I can keep
now.
reading. I know.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine. She'll take care of herself.
I know. Leave the camera on.
We are at the top of the second page. So, or is that like a faux pas? I don't know this streaming thing.
No. You can go ahead.
Fine. I don't even remember where we were. We were at.
There's nothing faux pas on this page.
We were at the broader pattern of harassment. Correct.
There's so much words that we can. I think we're good. A lot of distress, reputation. Reputation has nothing to do with harassment. I'm gonna keep my commentary down. I'll just read it. But by ensuring that the document was posted online, he engaged in conduct that is unquestionably intended to intimidate, embarrass, and harm my standing. This act runs counter to the no crimes and no contact clauses of our order, as it is a clear attempt to circumvent direct communication while still causing reputational harm. She's conflating two different legal theories, libel and harassment. Furthermore, the nature of this act, distributing a document he knew was unserved and therefore invalid, legally incorrect as well. It's valid. It's just not effective until it's served.
Right.
Suggests an intention to mislead and malign. Aligning with a pattern of indirect harassment meant to disrupt my life. So she's calling his actions indirect harassment, which is a counterfactual.
Which is what?
Furthermore, the nature of his act, distributing a document he knew was unserved and then valid. So she's saying distributing the document is the act, suggests an intention. So when he distributed the document, it was intent. The intent was to mislead the public and malign her character.
I mean, which suggests an intent is very weak. Like, maybe. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not proof. It's just mere speculation.
All heavily couched in terms of defamation, both like protective of herself, avoiding defamation, such as suggest, but then also very pro defamation of her, which is mislead and malign. So a lot of these words are not the purpose of this law. Aligning with the pattern of indirect harassment meant by, I feel like that's just its own sentence.
Like, where do you think this came from? You mentioned libel. Is it like a conflation of libel and harassment, or what?
Um,
I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but when I read this, I see a lot of adjectives and
So the nature of his
and
act can
adverbs,
go
like
to
unquestionably,
yeah.
right? And I'm like, when you say, "Oh, this unquestionably intended," I'm like, you're just bullshitting me at this point, because nobody who is gonna. Oh, Lauren's alive.
Oh, good. I just texted her.
Are you okay, Lauren?
I'm good. It was a neighbor.
Oh, good.
They
Okay.
got locked out of their house, and I know the code to the
Nice.
garage. I live in a place with a lot of old people. Let's put it that way. I'm like the youngest person here by far. So
I love that.
Sometimes when the older people, if they do the same for me, if I forget to close my garage or something, or if they lose their key, it's like we have each other's backs. So
Cool.
That's nice.
unfortunately, it was 10:45 at night this time, but I was awake. So
They were like watching you on your stream and like,
I know,
she's
right?
up.
I don't think they know how to use the
She could take a break.
browser. No, I don't think any of them know that I'm on the YouTube.
It reminds me of my dad. He like never remembers how to like get on the internet. Like if he's using a computer, he's like, "What do I click on?"
Mhm.
And I'm
Like-
and then he's like, "Where do I?" So I type it up here in this bar, and I'm like, "How many times have I told you?" Yes,
You got to get him a Chromebook, so like all he can do is internet.
right.
I was so confused the first time I used one of those. But Bruce, I figured it out.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Yes. So, and I think that this kind of ties in with what I said on Reddit, which is like this document is a staging document for future proceedings. I don't think anyone that wrote this took it seriously, with respect to being a victim of domestic violence. That's just my opinion. But what I see here is an effort to lay the groundwork for a future defamation case while also making a case for harassment to obtain an order of protection. So if we look here, it says, Lauren, we're at the last sentence above 11.524, which starts furthermore.
Indirect. Wait, where?
Furthermore, the nature of this act.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a really long sentence. I was like, where's the start
Yeah,
of this?
the M dashes do a lot.
Furthermore, the nature of
Oh,
this act
boy.
distributing a document he knew was unserved and therefore invalid.
That's the act.
Suggests an intention to mislead and malign.
That's
aligning with
defamation.
Aligning with a pattern of indirect harassment meant to disrupt my life. What you said you don't have a life. She's written out loud or written in public that she doesn't do anything. So what do you mean?
I mean, to me, this is sketchy because I'm seeing verbs like suggests an intention and aligning with. These are very weak statements linguistically. Right. If someone is making statements of fact, they just lay it out there. They're like, here's an email where they said they were intending to get Chipotle tomorrow, or like they just lay out the evidence. The way this is written, unquestionably intended. It's like they're trying to BS us.
It's like is it questionable?
I mean,
but yeah, by saying the intention is to mislead and malign, that's defamation. And they're saying, oh, and this makes sense with the overall narrative because what Greg is really doing is he's trying to defame me and harass me. And I think that the conduct at issue between defamation and harassment are close, but I think physical harassment is a much more serious situation.
Correct.
And also, I'm not sure in defamation if reasonable, if fear comes into it. I don't think fear is an element of defamation.
Is the header showing up for anyone else? I've moved this up to the top.
Yeah. I mean, it's more. We're up at the top. It's more. Immediate, right? Harassment is something that's happening that you need to address now, whether it's in person or not.
Right.
Whereas libel or defamation or something like this is more of a civil matter that is less.
You've done this a couple of times, Bruce, where you've been like, if you came to me and you were like, my boyfriend just punched me or my girlfriend just punched me, you would be like, let's go to the police office or whatever it's called. and file a police report.
Right.
But if I came to you and I was like, man, like my so and so just wrote a Facebook comment about me, calling me like a pedophile, what would you say? What would your advice to me be in that situation, if you like from your empathetic position?
Oh, you mean like there's some sort
You wouldn't
of
say go to
defamation
the
on
police
Facebook?
station.
Yeah, because the police are like, I mean, they're like crisis, agents, right? Like they're going to help you when something immediate needs attention.
Yeah, so it's kind of insulting to me, and as a person who knows people who are victims of domestic violence, to be including acts of defamation within domestic violence situations.
Yeah,
Like, because if you came to me and you told me that
these are
story, like
different.
someone commented on Reddit that I'm a pedophile, I'd be like, fuck that person, like whatever, just stop looking at it.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if they're doing it and it satisfies the legal requirements of defamation, right, where you have a case against them,
Sure.
the remedy is to go get a lawyer. It's not to go to the police.
Fair point.
Because you go to the police because you're trying to get someone to stop from injuring or killing you.
Right.
And so what you're saying here is you're seeing linguistically in here the conflation of these things within this document. Is that your thesis?
That is my overall conclusion, yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's because it's an unserious document.
Damn.
Fair enough.
I think she knows she's going to lose this. So the next thing is the injunction against harassment.
Yeah.
Just doing
unserious.
this at all,
I mean, to me, it's more like it's unconvincing. Like it's not about being serious or not being serious. It's about convince me. Like I'm here to be convinced. I'm a science enthusiast.
Yeah. See, and as a lawyer, when I look at it, I'm like, when you pass something to the court, that's a serious action.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, why are you filing court documents if it's not serious business, right?
Because you always get away with it
frivolous.
every single time. If you're like so used to getting your way,
it would be frivolous to file in family court saying you were pregnant with.
But when
Clayton
is it
Echard's
ever?
twins.
When has it ever backfired for her?
Yeah, what are the repercussions?
Right now.
I mean,
not yet, technically, because this hasn't been, decided on. And also with Clayton's thing, it's still an appeal, which is ridiculous. But
yeah,
I
mean, it's a good point.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, nothing would surprise me at this point.
Yeah. All right, where were we at on this? We got to.
I thought that was weird. The timeline was messed up too. We're on 11/5/24.
11/5/24. Okay. On October 6, 2023, I obtained an order of protection against Clayton Echard. Let's make sure we plug that.
You got to scroll it down a little bit, or our faces are in the way.
Yeah, one sec. I'm not used to us being up there.
Well, yeah, it is. It's weird because the boxes are so big. So yeah. I take back what I asked for earlier. If you want.
Oh my God, you did this on purpose. No.
I didn't know.
We're good.
You can put me on bottom if you want.
That's what you said.
You would like that. All right. Okay. Just weeks later, on November 2nd, Mr. Echard obtained an injunction against harassment against me. Okay, that's weird flex. But during the pre-issuance continuance hearing for this injunction, Mr. Gillespie attended the court session, ostensibly to support Clayton, a man he had no prior relationship with until I filed a paternity case against Mr. Echard. Again, this is not a flex. You're making yourself look bad. Gillespie's presence was undeniably strategic. He appeared there with no legitimate reason, clearly expecting I would be present, hoping his appearance would shock and unsettle me. He had absolutely no connection to the case and was not a witness or involved party. Well, okay. Which makes his attendance purely and simply an attempt to intimidate me.
No,
that's subjective. This behavior is a clear violation of the order. Yeah, the order of protection I hold against him, as it constitutes an intentional act to confront or intimidate me. His actions reflect a blatant disregard for the terms of the order, as he appeared at a place he anticipated I would be solely to cause distress. Although I was able to attend virtually due to a last-minute... you weren't even there! I forgot.
Oh, geez.
Again, it's not virtually. TV
That's
under
true.
The statute.
I mean, the other thing is, it's not just a place. It's a courthouse. the court has an immense amount of security in it.
This last sentence is important. Although I was able to attend virtually due to last-minute decision by the judge at the morning of the hearing, it is evident that Gillespie presumed he would encounter me there. So that's very, like, that's a total, like, shot in the dark, kind of like, he totally knew I would be there, you know? But, like, you don't know that. Like, he probably assumed that you would show up on Zoom because he knows you and how crazy you are, so...
Yeah, it's a lot of speculation and conjecture, because if something happened to you, if something happened to me, and then something happens to a random person in my town, and I'm like, hey, that happened to me, or something similar happened to me, maybe not the same thing, of course, but something similar, maybe I would want to go to the public courthouse that has tons of security, tons of bailiffs. You can go sit in, the public can sit in the gallery. You don't have to be a witness. It's not a requirement. This is just written to sort of assuage all that as an option of how reality might be working, and say, no, this other reality is much more likely.
But I thought this was her strongest claim, because again, if we just take all of these allegations as true, which a judge is most likely to do, it's inherently weird that this guy that you have a restraining order shows up in court that he's not a matter to. Like, yes, I know court is open to the public, but court's also a pain in the ass to go to. No, like, people don't want to go to court even when they have to.
Well, what if you don't have a job? And it probably
is it like a lot of courthouses are in the middle of town, and they just there's a door and you walk through it. It's not complicated.
Yeah, but it's like they have bad water fountains, and you have to go through security. Like, you know, you have to get wanded. But my point was that, like, I think it's her strongest claim, but where it completely falls apart is, and where I want to know more is, you know, this last minute decision. She was able to show up via Zoom. You know, there was the last minute decision. After finding this out, the last minute decision, I made the last minute request to appear virtually because I was so terrified. We get none of those facts, which should be in here, because if we don't get those facts, then the second part of the test is, not only does a reasonable person have to be placed in fear, but the person has to actually be in fear. And how could one be in fear of being harmed by someone or harassed by someone when they are appearing virtually, you know, some miles away?
Well, here's the thing I don't understand. I don't think the request or the decision by the judge to appear virtually has anything to do with Greg.
I don't think so either, or else it'd be in there.
Yeah. So, you know, it's like you're not attending virtually because of that.
Because she had that moon bump. She was like, "Oh, this is." I don't know good.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the reason is. Like, somebody could be like, "Oh, I feel sick," or "I don't want to get people in the courtroom sick." Someone could be like, "Oh, I'm
positive for COVID."
Guys, hang on. I just want to point out we have our friend from Reddit, Hugo Isakura, here with us.
I bow to you.
Yeah, I heard that she's a liar. Somebody on YouTube said that.
No.
But
yeah, I'm just a terribly dishonest person with a heart full of hatred. Apparently, my only two options are to be dumb or dishonest. So
that's clearly
Blatantly
the only
clear.
impression, you know? Like, what the fuck?
I want to know what scientific test he uses to determine if someone's heart is full of hatred.
which,
He
by
reads
the
the Grinch.
I do want to say, if he thinks the world is so black and white that people are dumb and dishonest, and if he thinks that Laura's not dumb, then
Fair.
Then ...
He said that many times. She is not dumb, but she's
so
also
kind of admission.
right. Oh my god! See, this is why you're the best. Like, I would not think of something nearly this clever ever. But I don't.
I mean, that
explicitly
sort of
mean
binary thinking goes all the way back to when we were looking at his Reddit logs, and he was like, "Oh, the good people and the bad people take advantage of all the good people," and I'm like,
also, teenagers are beautiful.
Yeah, I just thought they were beautiful.
well, it's just this generalization that flows through all of this stuff that we're looking at here. It's like people do good and bad things.
Yeah.
My armchair psychology is like, if you've been a litigator, as Omar has said, for so long, you view everything as wins and losses. So the tendency to view things in black and white is probably right there.
Really?
I mean, no, he's an idiot, but like,
I don't know. Like in the NFL, at the end of the day, your team wins or your team loses, and you either go to the Super Bowl or you don't, right? But the team is made up of team members, and you can still you can curate your highlight reel for your resume. You can look at stats. You can
shut up. I'm a Jags fan.
Life isn't all black and white. It's not all wins or losses. Maybe it's all losses if you're the Jaguars, but I mean the other teams,
Well, I mean, I think that if Green, I'm not gonna say his name. If he lost the football game, it would not be his fault, right? It'd be the quarterback's fault. It'd be the running back's fault. Like, so.
What about the coach?
Yeah.
Oh, the coach. Oh, you already know.
I don't know if you've ever played multiplayer games like an Overwatch or a DOTA.
One day I will get Lauren to play Fortnite with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's team-based video games where it's like your team against another team, right? And one thing I've seen in some of these games is if your team is losing, someone in the chat for your team is going to be like, you all in this team suck. And they're sort of like, they're putting it outside them. And it's like, buddy, you're a member of the team too. So maybe we're all sucking together. But they want to blame the other team members the same way you're. It's a psychological thing where
that's perverse.
Blaming what?
Well, but I think the best part about
performing badly
at the end of that game, the stats speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Like if your KD is 0,
yeah,
no, dude, you suck. Or if you had 0 eliminations.
But who has the best sucking ratio? Because apparently.
It's 0?
It's Laura, obviously. It's like 10 times better than Sarah's.
Jeez. I picked the wrong word. It's Jeff. Yeah. Oh,
why are you
Okay, hang on. I got a few things I gotta read here. Karen Carson, thank you for the $2. Premium dance moves. Stephanie B says, it's me. Thank you for the $2. And Zach, thank you for the $2, says dance time. I think we owe them a performance. Schnitzel Ninja has to sing.
Wait, and Hito has to now too.
Do we have to stand up? I don't know how to dance my chair.
Hito, what songs do you know?
I don't know. Maybe we can dance in our chairs.
That's actually really hilarious. I mainly listen to symphonic metal, so when they were joking in the comments that Schnitzel really does orchestral songs.
Is that even true?
Is that like Icelandic death metal? Oh boy.
Icelandic death metal. I'll be here. Whatever. You guys pick.
Let's do Baby Got Back.
Okay.
No.
For how long?
I'm here. We get 10 seconds. 10 seconds, guys.
All right. I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. I don't know the rest. Gotta pull up the hook that I can't stop staring. Oh baby, I want to get with you and take your picture. My homeboys like to something me, but you got makes me so horny. Ooh, you see, want to get in my pants? Well, use me, because they ain't that average.
Okay, now you're just doing it because you like it, Lauren.
I never said I didn't.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. I think that was not worth everyone's money, but no refunds. So
no refunds.
You gotta just come up with a better challenge than dancing. Like
that was fun. I need a Gatorade.
You have to wear your Laura or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any other challenges. I can't think of any. So that was the best I got for tonight, guys.
I wish you could
I'll make it my mission to come up with new challenges.
All right.
It'd be fun to do a virtual tortilla challenge where you put the water in your mouth and you slap each other's faces with the tortilla.
Wait, what goes in my mouth? What?
Water.
I love that meme. I love that.
Funny.
Meme. Yeah, I'll post it in the chat. But
I've seen that.
Lauren, if we meet, that will be the first thing that we do. I just want you to know. I'm just going to show up with a bottle of water and a packet of what are those
tortillas?
San Francisco tortillas I like.
That's not the way to make friends.
Omar's
here. Omar said he was forcing himself not to talk.
He's losing his voice, so he keeps live streaming.
Yet here he is.
He's losing his voice, but he decided to live stream the longest document in history.
I've got a question for Hito when we have a sec.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated with your like ability to read and digest these cases so quickly, like one, but two, like for a person who's not a lawyer, like so accurately. Like how do you find them? Like how do you read? Like what's your process in terms of the cases specifically?
You mean other than just lying for fun?
Yeah, that's right. Other than getting it completely wrong.
Yeah.
Honest. No, so me and my sibling, we both for some reason have an ability to read very quickly. My sibling has a better ability to like retain information. I can sometimes retain very useless facts, which annoys everybody.
Are you twins?
We're not twins. My sibling's 3 years older than me. But because I am able to read fast, I can kind of at least like go through the document fairly quickly. And I guess because of my background, I've kind of developed a very analytical mind, so I can kind of parse through it very quickly as well.
Yeah, definitely like pull out the relevant facts. Like I've stopped reading a lot of these cases because of your brief. So I really, really
it's so impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, part of my work is also that I'm supposed to go through tons of documentation and essentially write down what's going on and whether it is acceptable or not. So
yeah, so doing recaps is like something that like digesting a large volume of information into a short with all the salient points is something that you've had a lot of practice at.
Practice with that.
Yeah.
And at least it is more interesting than reading through some of the documentation I have to go through.
Some of the cases are, they are interesting for sure.
Cool.
Cat Lady Ballerina seems to have gotten a little bit about what my background is. Yes, I
was wondering if Hito works in science. Okay, because she seems to have that kind of thing. Yeah, okay.
Does Hito like a paralegal, attorney, apprentice, law school student?
No. No, I have taken one law class in my life.
I apologize.
Intellectual property. I regret it completely because they didn't. It was like a second or third year level class, and I had zero experience with law, and they just kind of threw us in there, and the professor. So that was actually one of the reasons why I do know what goes in a legal argument to some degree, because I was supposed to craft them for that class.
Nice.
Interesting.
But yeah, I regretted taking that class, and I did kind of warn people like, hey, if you're going to go in this program and you need to get like a law credit, maybe don't take this class because they're not going to actually teach you how to create a legal argument at the beginning.
No.
You're
No, they don't
gonna
teach you shit. They just talk shit about your current skills and how they're lacking, and you're never gonna get to whatever the professorial level of master writing. It's all bullshit.
Oh yeah, you'll never get a compliment.
Especially
but most
with
people
patents.
just take business law. I don't know why you just had to be the overachiever.
Well, actually, that's the thing. Later, they told everybody, based on these students' experiences, and mentioned my name and a couple of others, we suggest that you take business law over intellectual property. And I'm like, well, yeah, tell everyone after I did it. And
Yeah, business law is just like first year.
I don't want you to.
What is happening?
Omar?
That's what Omar's voice sounds like now.
Oh, sorry,
talking.
Omar's off the rails.
That's one of my little ones.
Why is she in your microphone?
I don't know.
Well, she is being supervised by me at the moment. I'm keeping her alive.
She can say hi to everybody.
The definition of parenting.
Right?
Oh, boy.
Sounds like she's debating you.
You just pulled her up. It's like, what do you think, honey?
What is your opinion on legal writing?
I've worked with a lot of patent lawyers. It's definitely a different sort of thing.
Very different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's super. It's not easy,
especially in business and
very
tech.
Element heavy. It's not like subjective as much as business. being able to have like being able to do a whole year of having to know, okay, like for this to be correct, all this has to be true. Is, you know, doing that for a year is a good exercise. It's just not easy.
Yeah. All right. Where were we on this filing? We should probably move along a little bit.
The 725.
725. As part of his ongoing harassment, Greg Gillespie has publicly leaked private emails, text messages, and allegedly recorded phone calls.
Is this a declaration? I'm sorry. Is this a declaration in support of the renewal?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
This is the temporary.
These private communications have been featured in YouTube videos by content creators such as Dave Neal and Dr. Hines, where they are used to scrutinize and disparage me. Gillespie's decision to release personal conversations publicly is a clear violation of the protective order. The order explicitly prohibits direct or indirect contact. None of that was that, but okay. And any behavior that could reasonably cause harassment or distress. Well, nobody asked you to watch these fucking videos. By ensuring that my private interactions are broadcasted to a wide audience, Gillespie is clearly using these leaks as a means to intimidate, embarrass, and provoke emotional harm. Give her what she wants, Omar.
Where's the?
Don't tell your mom.
Where's the mute Omar button? Dang!
This is indirect harassment designed to discredit me and cause ongoing stress, and it clearly disregards the protective order's terms, which were put in place to prevent precisely this kind of intimidation. No, that's not what that's for. Gillespie's repeated and public exposure of my private communications reveals a clear intent to harm and manipulate my reputation, turning what should be protected private exchanges into tools for harassment.
Reputation, again, conflating.
His actions demonstrate a blatant disregard for the order's purpose of safeguarding my privacy and well-being.
That order does not
safeguard your privacy. What were these messages? Where were these from?
I mean, we've seen messages between them. I can't remember where they came from.
What was the context, though? I'm trying to remember. I mean, this goes back a bit.
Didn't we see those messages in court filings? Or no?
Yes, we saw some in court filings.
Yeah, because I don't really remember any documents that were sort of like, here's this magic set of text messages or emails that don't have any context. Like that's like if someone were to leak them, not that, I mean, and again, to Patrick's point, is it right or wrong? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it is.
Leaking is the wrong word for any of this stuff.
Published, like, you know, if Greg gave me a bunch of emails and text messages and I put them on Reddit, if he did that, like, then it would sort of be like these things are just out here with no context in some sort of PDF or I don't know, whatever. I don't remember going over anything like that on with Dave's channel or with Heinz here.
And I've never been, I'll say for myself, I've never been asked to share anything that I have shared.
Yeah.
I've done it because I fucking wanted to. It needs to be out there.
I mean, we're basically taking things from the court dockets or from public court document searches or things like that and then reviewing them.
I've dealt with this issue in a harassment restraining order yesterday, sort of indirectly. And the issue was whether or not indirect contact of this nature constituted intentional harassment. And I think that where the court lands on it is if there are matters of public record such that anybody could search up and find these documents and download them if they've already been distributed on the internet. Because it wasn't just, there's been a number of people, there's like a whole cater of people that is researched this case and published things on Reddit because it's all public information. None of it was under lock and seal. And it was a case of minor public interest. And so to conflate that with somehow Gillespie going in and intentionally submitting things for the sole purpose of indirectly harassing her is a stretch that I don't think is going to fly. But unfortunately for this renewal, I think that the dispositive issue is going to be a little bit different.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it just doesn't matter. The question is whether or not she still has a reasonable fear after the expiration of the original restraining order.
What if she's mentally ill as fuck and her fear was never reasonable?
That would have to be an issue that he'd have to present as evidence with exhibits expert testimony, some form of diagnosis. You can't just speculate.
You'd have to prove.
Yeah, they're going the hard way about it.
Yeah, it's difficult to prove and probably above the pay grade of a renewal hearing.
What
But
if she's
that's what he'd
writing?
have to do.
What if she's writing articles about significant mental disorders that impact interpersonal relationships and perceptions?
Fair
Such
game.
as autism.
You get
I
it from
thought
the
that
horse's
was so
mouth.
interesting that autism was never mentioned in here. Like, she could technically claim herself. She's alleging everything else under the sun. She could technically claim, like, I am a person with a recognized disability, to include autism, which is a very, judges are gonna jump all over wanting to protect someone.
Yeah, and make herself look like even more of a victim.
But again, that's why I view this as a staging document, because there's nothing negative about her. I mean, in her eyes, in this document.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's all focused on him and everything he's done. Why doesn't she mention the grape in this document?
Right.
Yeah, and there's no vulnerability here on her.
Did you say vulnerability?
Vulnerability. That might have been Freudian. I'm sorry. Yeah, Omar is here. So what am I gonna do?
I'm in danger.
Why is it my fault? Why do I gotta be the one?
Why is it my fault?
You know the answer to that, Victor.
I'm curious if she can claim that she needed to safeguard her privacy and well-being when she's publicly gone on videos and discussed their past relationship. That one video in December, and she's published articles in Medium trying to say things about these people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you were to cross-examine this document, you would want to do exactly that, or her. Oh, you say you were this and this. Well, what about when this and this happened?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that, oh, he violated my privacy, but then go publicly and talk about it.
Well, she could
and
say,
still
I
be
was
trying to safeguard your privacy.
Mm.
She might say, I was just trying to rehabilitate what the damage that he had done.
Virtually.
Okay. Were we at 110, 2024? Gillespie has made public statements on his Instagram account under the username redacted. In one particularly alarming post he wrote, and by the way, guys, these were not actual Instagram posts that he made. They were comments on other posts. Like, okay, stop this woman. No one should cave to her harassment. She is dangerous. This statement publicly labeling me as dangerous and accusing me of harassment serves no purpose other than to harm my reputation and incite fear and distrust among those who see it. Nobody trusts you. By publicly characterizing me in this way, Gillespie is actively... Oh, it's Omar's kid again. Okay. Gillespie is actively attempting to influence others' perceptions and create a hostile environment for me. Such language calling me
You created it yourself.
Right. Such language calling me dangerous and accusing me of harassment, it is harassment, is intended to provoke others to act against me, effectively encouraging third parties to stop me. Okay, but like
that's a big stretch.
If the third party,
that's a very indirect.
Right, the third parties here would be what, like the court? I don't know. This kind of inflammatory statement goes beyond personal opinion or commentary. It is a calculated effort to portray me as a threat, encouraging others to engage in or support his campaign of harassment. This behavior directly violates the terms of the protective order, which prohibits indirect contact. Again, not indirect contact.
I've never been encouraged by him to do any of this.
Yeah.
My question is this: when she gave her TED talk, was Gillespie one of the subjects of her talk?
No,
it's Mike.
Okay. Well, then never mind. I thought I had a really good point to make.
Which prohibits indirect contact and any actions that would reasonably cause me distress, harm, or harassment. By spreading false and harmful narratives about me on a public platform, Gillespie is engaging in a form of indirect harassment using his social media presence to harm my reputation and provoke fear. What reputation? This post illustrates a continued pattern of intimidation, as Gillespie is not merely airing grievances, but, he is, but actively attempting to harm my standing in the community. The community wants you to lay down and shut up. So, and incite further hostility. His actions represent a blatant disregard for the protective order, which is meant to prevent precisely these types of aggressive public displays intended to intimidate and cause emotional harm. No one asked you to look up posts about you that from people that don't like you. So like,
so sorry.
Wait,
There
I
are
thought,
so many comments more hostile
this
than this on
isn't-
the internet. Should
this
everyone
wasn't
finally
This
order
wasn't
to
a
get
post,
through?
right? This was a comment.
I
on
mean,
a-
half of those more hostile
Yeah.
comments come from her lawyers.
Right.
So wait, is this incorrect? I mean, is this a comment on a post? It's not a post.
Right. It's a comment.
Yeah, it's a
on post.
comment.
And the comment is on what kind of post?
Posts that talk, it's like JFC posts, right?
Like I think it
stuff
was like
that.
the JFC Instagram post.
Yeah, right.
But even if it was a direct
But
post,
what was
if
the
she doesn't follow him, that's what this is all trying to
Yeah,
establish.
he
Because it's such a
wasn't
weak-
he wasn't messaging her directly, right?
No.
That
No
I mean,
way.
yeah, no, that would be it. That'd be the end of
Mhm.
it. But I
Well,
think
can
that
I-
it goes to two things.
Let me ask
that-
you another question.
Go ahead.
Has any of Gillespie's comments about Laura Owens exceeded past the Echard trial? Like, has he
danger
commented
from
on her
the
since
farm.
June?
No, I don't know.
Because if that's the case, then Gingerbread and Owens have been talking about Greg like nonstop for months
Good
Mhm.
point.
in Twitter posts and YouTube videos as recently as like last week. Weren't they talking about how she was victimized by Greg and they were going to renew, or they had plans to renew and do
In a
what they're
YouTube
doing
video
now?
recently, yes.
Yeah,
But
all of the
The only thing he's done is the GoFundMe type thing, which wasn't even him; it was his partner.
it was his wife,
Mhm.
partner.
So contextually, I think that she presents the full context of the communication, in that Gillespie was potentially going to be a witness in this case that involved a similar fact pattern, sort of, kind of similar circumstances.
It's not
was accused-
identical.
Not identical, well, maybe identical, but similar. He lends his presence as a potential witness to a case. He showed public support to somebody that was victimized the same way that he believes he's been victimized and never had a chance to truly litigate. And Owens has been going on this campaign, really, against him and all of the men that have been mentioned publicly as victims of her, to tarnish their good name. One might argue it's slanderous. One might argue that it's defamatory, but any attempts to have any communications with any of the parties involved arguably has been solely by Laura Owens since about June of last year.
And I'm almost sure that there is some place where Greg has told her lawyer, stop talking about me.
Yeah, I think there are emails exchanges somewhere in one of the court documents where he was kind of telling him, well, he was sort of like having a back and forth with the lawyer. And there was a lot of discussion about like, why would you need to involve me in that way? Or what, I'm not going to communicate with you because you're kind of trying to push a false narrative, which I think that's fair. He doesn't have to communicate with him.
So this is an angle. It's interesting because this is an angle that I wouldn't normally have if I was defending a case like this, whereby this case has been the public scrutiny, at least relatively local, California to Arizona, for some time. And there's been a huge public backlash against Laura Owens, such that she's had to defend herself and the reasons why she's done certain things. And caught in the backlash of all of that has been Gillespie. And he's been accused of doing all of these things. And because he participated in a court proceeding where he was a subpoenaed witness, that's being construed as he's leaking text messages and leaking different things to facilitate the information gathering of a situation that she very publicly created and exacerbated by making all of these different claims. And
Can you
now,
scroll up to the date, Lauren?
What's that?
Can you scroll up to the date on this?
It was
Item.
110.
Okay.
and now she's using this. She's been talking about she's going to do this for months. There's never been any genuine fear about anything. This is nothing more than a public relations measure used to mitigate the damage that's been done to her publicly by virtue of her very public in-court losses as a result of the Echard case. And a victory here is going to allow her to save some measure of face. And her main goal here is not protection. It's rehabilitation of her public image. And that's not the reason why we renew restraining orders in the state of California.
Just to be clear, none of her orders of protection were actually for protection. They were all some form of vengeance, or in this case, as you're saying correctly, a way of preserving public persona.
Hey, Patrick, you had two items on this January 10th thing.
Oh, yeah. So one, I think this is probably clear to everyone,
right
but
back.
it's so interesting that there have been multiple allegations made in this document that Greg has violated the original order of protection. Yet, Greg has never been arrested for violating. Like, if you violate an order of protection, the cops are going to tell you, or if you get an order of protection, the cops are going to tell you, if this person steps on your property or comes within 100 feet, come call us and we'll arrest them because they violated a court order. That has not ever happened once. And there's actually documented police records to show the contrary. So I think that's a glaring hole in her whole argument here.
After the court hearing in June, didn't she like try to call the police and say that Mike and Greg violated the orders of protection? It's a court.
The very next day, I think. Yeah.
And so then you have a different angle to it then. You have basically, she has been watching like a hawk for any minor perceived violation of the original restraining order, of which there was none. And you don't even need the cops to validate the violation of a restraining order. Like, for example, if she has proof of a text message she received from him after the time that the restraining order would have been in effect, that's a clear violation. We don't need any further litigation. That's what it is if it's a valid text message. But she doesn't have anything like that. And if she's been watching for any minute violation and talking about renewing this restraining order now for months in spite of zero communication, then it should come across as disingenuous and incredible that she's continuing to seek this restraining order, and it should just be summarily denied because we're not here to serve her purposes for public relations.
That's sort of why she keeps like harping on the indirect contact, and indirect contact can also cause me distress, harm, and harassment because he never directly contacted her. He never directly spoke to her.
Yeah. So that's where I think it comes through that she got legal help with this, because I don't even have to do the legal research to tell you that to prove domestic violence via indirect harassment, you're going to have a pattern of behavior. You can't just say one time you can't allege one time I told the third party to go and harass you. That's not going to be enough to rise to the level of domestic violence. So she has to create this pattern of indirect harassment to prove her point. So I agree.
Where there wasn't some other reasonable alternative that could have explained the perceived indirect communication.
She avoids explaining those. She says, it's obviously X. And she never says like, well, it could be Y, but here's why it's not. Like, it's not like a logical scientific proof. It's like a linguistic trick.
Well, it's just conclusory writing. It's poor legal writing is what it is.
Yeah, and she knows, or she knows well enough that the judge has to, and Omar, correct me if I'm wrong here, the judge has to take all of the facts here, and I think this is another screw up on her part, has to take all the facts here as true, but the judge does not have to take her claims about intent to be true. Is that right, Omar?
Well, the restraining order was granted, and there's really only one question that the judge has to answer, in that she still has a reasonable basis for fear persisting past the restraining order. And she could take her declaration. She doesn't have to say that it's true or not. It doesn't even have to be reasonable. It just has to be subjectively reasonable to her. If she still has what could be perceived as a reasonable fear with respect to her, then they're going to renew the restraining order. The bar is really, really low in California. But in this instance, if he can prove that she's had a hard-on for Gillespie and wanting to renew this thing ever since she got her ass kicked in June, and that the indirect communication was all part of a litigation where he was a subpoenaed witness and that she's been talking about him indirectly herself through YouTube videos and through her attorneys posting on social media and all these other things, then it's going to be really obvious to a judge what's actually going on. She's not actually fearful of this. I think the spin is, this is all for publicity. This is for public relations. And I'm not interested in rehabilitating your image. And so motion denied.
I mean, there's a million screenshots of her attorney calling everyone under the sun Greg on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are all those things, but you can't necessarily say that what DG does is an action of Laura's.
No, you can't.
So you have to set aside everything that David says.
But what you can call DG is an agent of Laura Owens, insofar as she works for him, and arguably was communicating on her behalf, and arguably was making threats on her behalf, representing himself to be her attorney, therefore a legal agent of Laura Owens, which would constitute an indirect communication to a person that she's threatening indirectly to renew a restraining order from, and use that as the basis to form the opinion that this is all a big PR stunt aimed at rehabilitating her image. Therefore, motion denied, bitch.
I mean, doesn't he literally claim I'm doing PR?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can use
times.
his entire YouTube video channel, any video he discusses Laura in, and any video she's actually present in, because she consented to go to those videos. And he says in many videos, Laura, do I have your consent to speak about this? Can I do this? Can I do that? So she's consenting to these things. So you can use the videos to some degree against her.
Interesting.
Omar, in Arizona, it looks like it's an objective and subjective standard for fear.
Oh, is this I thought this was a California DVRO for some reason.
No, I don't know when Mike's comes up again, but we have a GoFundMe for Mike.
It's next summer that it's up for renewal, but I don't know how long it takes for that whole process.
So
is
Arizona,
it next summer or this summer?
Yes, it is 2025. It's this summer.
So then in Arizona, the standard, the difference between objective and subjective fear, they kind of just balance the two. Is that what they're doing?
I believe so. I will pull up the statute so we can take a look at it. But then I also wanted to have you put your judge robe on, and I wanted to ask you if you just had to rule in this case just with this paper that she had, and let's assume that Greg has one rebutting it. Are you going to assume that the facts in here are how are you going to assess the facts if this is all you have to go on?
Well, if that's all I had to go on and there was no further response, then, you proceed by default and you grant the restraining order, especially if the underlying reason for the restraining order was some kind of violent act. And I don't know what the underlying reason for the restraining order was, but if he's there to rebut, then what he's going to have to do is prove that, first of all, she's delusional. For all of these reasons, this is what's been going on. Since the restraining order, for all this time, all these years, there's been no communication. There's this high-profile case where my name was thrown about and I was subpoenaed as...
Huh? Oh, no. Where did Omar go?
I just heard I was a penis.
Subpoenaed, sir. You're just hearing what you want.
That was a penis with some gonads.
Freudian.
I'm looking at Maricopa County's website for the order of protection, and it is actually fairly vague when they're saying that an emergency order you can apply and receive an order of protection if you meet the following requirements. She's going to argue that Greg was someone that she previously was involved with either sexually or romantically.
Mm-hmm.
And the defendant is committed or is about to commit a series of various crimes or sexual abuses, which is not applicable here, and or any of the following acts in which the defendant endangers, that's kind of broad, threatens or intimidates. For the sake of this, the next few bullet points do not apply because Greg does not criminally trespass, disorderly conduct, or stalk like some people. Interferes with judicial proceedings, uses a telephone, he hasn't done that, and harasses. So there's a lot of broadness here, which is kind of irritating.
Am I still on? Could y'all hear me?
You're back.
Oh, you're
Now we
good.
can hear you.
You cut out.
You said you got subpoenaed.
I was the penis. Yeah. So
Yep. Mhm.
you're right. All of that is very broad. And usually the way it works is this. If there was like a potentially violent crime that occurred, even without any violation, even without anything further, you could just say that you're still fearful because of the trauma that you experienced and reasonably get the thing renewed. But in this case, she's trying to form the basis of why she still fears this guy because he's still somehow harassing her. And if she's making that allegation, then I think we need the context. And if I'm the judge and I find out what that context is, I'm not granting this renewal without something more. I need something more concrete. How did he harass you? What did he objectively do? What did he actually do outside of that to threaten you, harass, or annoy? What was it?
I feel like but it has to depend on the judge too, because think about how Judge Judy
it does.
the whole situation
Exactly.
and kind of didn't really care about what Clayton was saying. It was just like, oh, you potentially posted this terrible looking image of her.
Well, here's the pressure that judges are under. I mean, I've seen judges deny these restraining order requests, and then a week later, the victim requesting protection from the order is found dead at the hand of the person she was seeking protection from. And the judge who just didn't believe her, think she was credible, loses his seat on the bench. That happens every now and then. And so most of the time, these judges, in spite of the facts, in spite of, there's probably nothing there, but what the hell? Err on the side of caution. What's the harm? Sure, extend it some more. So
yeah, I can see why they do that
the
to make sure that someone is as protected as possible, regardless of whether their claims are credible.
Which is why if Greg wants to win this thing and get this thing dismissed, then he's going to have to go on the offensive and explain the context behind everything in her declaration and really go in on her and paint the picture of a mentally ill woman whose public reputation has been irreparably harmed. And that a victory in this case is going to represent a measure of rehabilitation for her, such that this motion should not be interested in. If it's interested in pure safety, there's no danger, there's no threat, there hasn't been, and there never was. In spite of the previous findings, she has stated no reason why she should still be in need of protection from this court as a result of me.
He doesn't need to prove
he doesn't need to prove mental illness,
right?
He can prove vengeance.
He doesn't have to prove anything. But what I'm suggesting is if he wants to win, it's not that he has to prove anything. It's just he needs to go on the offensive and just throw out all the guns. Because he's got to convince a judge to let this go. Easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
We went through 110, 2024. Are we on 8-4 now? I can't remember. I think we are.
Scroll up. What was the one before 8-4?
110.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we read that one.
On August 4th, let's get through this one. Hang on. August 4th, I received an email from Redacted informing me that a woman named Redacted of Redacted, an associate of content creator Dave Neal, who I am obsessed with, had obtained intel about me directly from Greg Gillespie. According to the email, this information was shared with the assistance of a woman named Redacted of Redacted and was specifically intended to harm my reputation through wider dissemination. This demonstrates that Gillespie has actively collaborated with others to share private or harmful information about me with the apparent goal of exacerbating the distress and damage caused by his actions. Gillespie's actions are not protected speech under the First Amendment, as they serve no legitimate public interest and are expressly intended to cause harm. Contrary to the restrictions of the protective order, the order prohibits not only direct contact, but also indirect actions reasonably expected to cause distress, harassment, or harm by enlisting third parties to disseminate private information. This is public information with the intent to discredit and intimidate me. Gillespie is actively circumventing the court's restrictions. This calculated effort reflects a clear and ongoing disregard for the boundaries set by the court. The involvement of third parties in these actions exacerbates the harm and creates a wider circle of hostility. This is not lawful expression, but targeted harassment intended. Again, nobody asked you to go in Dave's Discord or watch anyone's videos. But targeted. Hold on, let me finish this part first. But targeted harassment intended to intimidate and cause reputational damage, violating the protective order. Gillespie's behavior is a direct attempt to use others to achieve what he is forbidden to do himself, further demonstrating his intent to undermine the legal protections afforded to me. Go ahead, Bruce.
This giant paragraph is a lot of tell and don't show. Okay. And what we need with real evidence is show, don't tell. So if you scroll back up, this whole thing starts with sort of this weird thing. On August 4th, I got an email from someone that said some stuff. Yeah. Well, so what? I could send her an email that said aliens abducted me. Should we just believe my email?
I'd believe
Where's the evidence? What is she even talking about? What is this intel? She doesn't get into the actual, like, here's what the intel is. Here's how somebody got it. Here's where somebody shared it. Here's what it said. Here's what the comments were. It's all about, like, it all assumes it's true and then says, here's why that's all bad. And it spends 2/3 of this paragraph going into, here's why this is all bad. Like, you need to convince me. Convince me with the evidence. Show me. Don't tell me.
Omar, no exhibits to my knowledge.
Because Bruce is right. For her to say that without exhibits is problematic. Is she being represented in this one?
No, I don't think so.
Is she doing this pro per? Okay, well, that kind of explains. Yeah, you can't just say all that stuff without exhibits to show the judge, because for exactly the reasons that Bruce said. But also, your instinct is right, Lauren, and that some of this stuff is public, but also to the extent that some of those text messages weren't public, then there's a mixture of public and private. And I'll just close with this. It's going to be difficult for him to win if he doesn't go on the offensive with this. I got to put my kid to bed. I got to force myself to shut the fuck up for like 12 hours and resist the urge to keep talking, man. I can't stop. It's like a disease.
Water. Keep drinking water, Omar.
Oh, all right, folks. I love you all, man.
Help your vocal cords.
Love you too, man.
Yeah, man. Take care.
You guys take care.
Yeah, it's been like a week.
Continually counting chickens. Thank you for the $2 for the fantastic dancing and singing. I don't think it's fantastic, but thank you very much. So I appreciate it. Okay, let me get through the next block of text here. We went through 8-4, so 222. On February 22nd, Greg Gillespie attended a court hearing related to my paternity case with Clayton Echard. Gillespie had no legitimate involvement in the case or reason to be present in the courtroom. According to an article published by the Arizona Republic on the same date, Gillespie attended the hearing as an observer and declined an interview afterward. His presence at this sensitive proceeding was clearly intended to intimidate and distress me, knowing that his attendance would cause discomfort and emotional harm. At the time of this hearing, Gillespie was not listed as a witness in any capacity. This designation only occurred later on March 29th, 2024. His attendance on February 22nd had no connection to any legitimate legal obligation and was solely an act of harassment. This behavior directly violates the protective order, which prohibits indirect harassment and any actions reasonably expected to cause me distress. And then let me just go ahead and finish this one. 12/8/2023, so this is not in order, I guess. I have had 2 orders of protection against Gillespie, one served on November 15th, 2021. That was in effect for 1 year, and one that was served on December 8th, 2022. That was in effect for 2 years. Okay. And that's the end of the petition there.
I have something that I think might be helpful to people to see. I linked it in chat. And I think this will just help us understand how Laura is going to try.
What is the Gingras?
Yeah.
Filing? Okay.
Yeah, page 6.
What page am I looking at? 6.
PDF page 6.
All right, let's see.
Because I'm assuming he's helping her here. And so this is how Gingras thinks about domestic violence. So the things that I pull out of here is, one, it's a preponderance of evidence standard. So Laura just has to prove it's 51% likely that Greg has committed harassment, direct or indirect. But more interestingly, Gingras also mentions that, see all these things where the block quote, and it has all those numbers. Those are all specific types of conduct that meet the definition for domestic violence. And Gingras has this silly thing in here about how one of them relates to livestock, but on the next page,
what?
Yeah, read actually, yeah, if you read the paragraph right above that on page 6, you can get the gist of his just horrible legal writing.
This long list of numbers means little to non-lawyers and probably nothing more to anyone else. The key to understand.
What is this document?
Which one was this?
This is a response to
the amended motion for relief based on fraud. Okay,
149 pages.
Which is funny because
like
there's
breaking the fourth wall
in
here, right?
No, I'm wrong. Sorry, what's that?
He's like breaking the fourth wall here, right? Like,
seriously, talking
like,
right.
If you're writing a legal document, write your legal document. You don't need to talk about like, well, some people will understand a legal document and some people won't. Like in the legal document, like, yeah.
Oh, it gets worse. Like the list includes.
Yeah, if you write a novel in French, people that don't speak French won't be able to read it. Like, okay, congrats.
Yeah, so the list includes an extremely broad range of conduct, none of which I'm gonna explain to you, but none of which apply here. Completely unrelated acts like negligent homicide and revenge porn. The statutory why? The statutory definition of domestic violence also covers things like recklessly parking any vehicle in such a manner as to deprive livestock of access to the only reasonably available water. I mean, it's Arizona, so that is pretty violent. But he then goes on to say, seriously.
My poor chickens. Oh.
I think this would have been a better sentence if he had made it a question mark. Seriously, that meets the definition of domestic violence. But
no, he's saying it as a fact.
Yep.
He agrees with it. He agrees with it. He's not questioning it.
Cute. And then he goes on to say, here, after the hearing, the court did not explain precisely which aspect of domestic violence was proven. So I'm going to go ahead and just be a fucking judge. But we can rule a few things out. This pisses me off. It is undisputed Mr. Echard did not park his car in such a manner as to deprive livestock access to water. Nothing worse than thirsty cows.
What does this have to do with anything?
This is a legal document, bro.
I don't even remember this.
I think this is when he was still playing nice. Instead,
what does this have to do with anything?
The court finds this
your brain like Hito, but this is just explaining how David thinks about domestic violence, and so we only get two interesting good things out of this. One, it's a preponderance standard that's pretty low. Two, the actions that Laura is probably going to try to prove are disorderly conduct, which I was not tracking before I read this. And then the second one here, 29 ARS 132916. This is the harassment one that I've been tracking. So disorderly conduct, I think, again, that her strongest claim is the courthouse move, because that's the only conduct that I saw in any of the claims.
With that Instagram comment, I guess.
That's
but I mean, yeah, disorderly conduct, from what I understand, is depending. I mean, there's different levels of it, right? Like misdemeanor or up and down or whatever the state. It's per state, right? But basically, like, police can just give out disorderly conduct tickets for pretty much anything. Like, the standard is super low, right?
Yep. Apparently, according to the ARS 13-2904, you can commit disorderly conduct if you disturb the peace or quiet of a neighborhood, family, or person with the knowledge of doing so, engaging in fighting, violent or seriously disruptive behavior, make unreasonable noise, use of abusive or offensive language or gestures to any person present in a manner likely to provoke immediate physical retaliation, makes protracted commotion, utterance, or display with the intent to prevent the transaction of the business of a lawful meeting, gathering, or procession, refuse to obey a lawful order to disperse issued to maintain public safety in a dangerous proximity to a fire, hazard, or any other emergency, recklessly handles, displays, or discharges a weapon. Okay, that doesn't apply here. Yeah. Disorderly conduct under subsection A, paragraph 6 is a class 6 felony.
Question, what if I go around a neighborhood saying, moo, moo, I need water?
Yeah.
Is that...
That could be misdemeanor.
I mean, if you do that after
disorderly
curfew,
conduct.
they'll claim that you're doing it to disturb the peace and quiet.
It's a pretty
I need
low,
water, moo moo.
Low bar.
I saw a really funny case where the woman got a restraining order against her because she would call her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend and fart on the phone repeatedly.
Oh no.
That's actually amazing.
It's amazing. But I mean, that's a lot of farts to be considered disorderly conduct.
What did she eat?
That's a good
Oh
question.
yeah.
Burritos and
Close that?
Domino's.
Yeah, probably a lot of gluten.
Okay, so this is making more. Okay, I think I sort of misspoke. Like I said he agrees with the definition. I don't know if he personally agrees. I think he's just saying this is what it is.
This is
So
what most likely I
He didn't
believe
put
it.
a question mark because he's making statements of fact. It's not about.
Yeah.
I
just
didn't
being
mean to
clear.
imply what his opinion was.
I was requested to moo for them again, so moo.
Oh boy.
Yeah, prohibiting disorderly conduct. That's a really broad cat. I also just want to say anecdotally, like, that's the most racist law I've ever heard. Like, that law is just intended to be able to find an excuse to arrest minorities.
Which one?
The disorderly conduct.
Well, or teenagers. I don't know. Causing trouble.
Or cows.
It just seems like it's very Jim Crow era. I'd be interesting to see when that was passed and last amended.
It's
Neither
very
here nor
broad.
there.
I would agree.
I'm out of water, so moo moo. You know?
That was all I wanted to point out, was that I think that's interesting.
Mm.
It ends at the next page anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I can finish it out. That's the definition of harassment.
You're thirsty cows.
That is the longest. All right. Both in her petition and in her testimony at the hearing, Miss Owens, this is talking about Clayton at this point, established Mr. Echard sent her. I'm not going to repeat that because it's not correct. The court clearly was focused on Mr. Echard's conduct. I'm not going to repeat that, which were extensive and not limited to the posting of a single sonogram image. So again, a pattern. So because I think, they're going through this indirect route. So, I mean, Greg, right there, like, that's the litigation strategy.
I think,
What the heck was that?
I don't know,
Sorry, that was my phone.
Okay.
Notably, in Mr. Echard's, okay, I don't want to read the rest of this because it's all just inflammatory statements about Clayton.
Crap. Yeah. Okay. It's just crap.
If you're out of water, I need to go make water. So I'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. I'm just eating.
How do you make water?
Hot. Bruce?
Like Instagram or TikTok water, the TikTok videos where it's like, make my water with me.
Make water?
Wait.
You got a rain cloud in there?
I thought you just meant he had to pee.
He's got a canister of like
but-
hydrogen and oxygen, and he's what is it?
I guess the one I watched, it was like someone put water, glitter, or like some sort of blue liquid. I guess it must have been some sort of like berry extract or something.
Did
Or,
this
like,
person
ice.
die? Did this person die young? What's going on here? Like, what's happening?
Glitter? I mean, I guess
actually-
if we're doing crafts,
I was
glitter
watching
has to be
someone's
involved.
reaction to that, and their reaction was priceless. So.
Guys, somebody tell David Hito puts glitter in her water.
Oh, jeez.
That's why your summaries are so sparkly.
Ooh.
Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
God damn it. Oh god. I don't know. My overarching thoughts on that petition were it was all just kind of horseshit speculation. Like, it's not like he messaged her any of this stuff. Like, I don't feel like he really did anything wrong in commenting on, certain things where she really shouldn't be looking anyways if she doesn't want, unless she is actively seeking out offensive material. So, like, we all have to have a level of self, and I'm not saying this is the legal solution. I'm just saying, as a person, like, as a human, we all have to kind of be responsible and like, hey, this is not good for my mental health. Maybe I shouldn't be interacting with these people, or watching all this stuff, or reading all this stuff, or stalking these people that don't like me. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of bullshit. But like I said, that's not a legal perspective. That's just a human perspective. Like, I'm just a person. So
Did we get to the end?
I'm also kind of a cow. Yeah, we did
Drinking
get to the end,
water.
yeah. We read the whole petition. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so procedurally, the next steps is what? There's a
if he wants to, he can request a hearing.
There's a response, and then they would have to have a hearing.
But
So
there's
he would have
but they're
to-
separate. So I think that I think that they could be two separate things.
Erica P says, breaking news, Lauren is a person. I agree.
boy.
It's breaking news.
Given.
Like that she can have the hearing to defend herself, and then he could have a hearing to defend himself, and then maybe they would make a decision at that point, the court.
Show
Oh,
us the babies.
It wouldn't be a single hearing? It would be multiple hearings, or
If you look at the end of that document, I don't know what the future direction is, but I'm also looking at her other requests in section 9 of that document.
Oh, let me pull that back up. Hang on.
ooh,
I didn't actually see that.
more requests.
That's fine. This is totally
she
normal,
want?
guys. I think she just wants
Another
his,
pizza?
his sperm, probably. Like, you know.
What?
Yeah, just chill. That's all she wants.
Pizza and sperm.
Ew.
Oh, I
And
just
Tony
forgot.
Robbins. Don't forget Tony.
And
Robbins.
anal.
All right. What, I'm
What have I
looking at- hang on.
done?
What have you done? What haven't you done, Bruce?
Tony Robbins and anal.
Oh
right.
boy.
No, he's
You
done
don't know that.
He's done that. All right.
Wow.
What am I looking
You
at?
don't
here?
know
You said-
that either.
So
Go
we're,
all
we're
the way
at
to
the bottom.
Yeah,
The
there's
bottom, all the
number
way to the bottom.
9. So
Oh,
she has
okay.
all these other, like, she has these other requests. 1, no indirect contact through third parties or online forums. 2, prohibit him from sharing police reports or court filings related
Public
to
documents,
Wow.
you
Public.
cunt.
3, ban on sharing my personal information. I don't think he ever did that.
No.
4, no interaction with my online profiles. Didn't do that. 5, no surveillance or tracking. 6, no mentions of me in harass. What are
Harassment forums.
Harassment
Harassment
forums.
Oh my god.
I think we're in one of those right now.
I didn't know those
Oh,
were
no.
allowed.
I found her based on her description of herself in the sun. So, bitch, that was your fault. You did that to yourself.
Wow.
I didn't know who she was until she posted on fucking Reddit. So, yeah, there's just a lot there. Let me see. Prohibit from sharing police reports or court filings related to me, which is like we looked that shit up ourselves.
Prohibit from sharing public documents.
Yeah, no, Greg
That's
has
why I
never.
wasn't included.
I mean, I've done so many streams. I don't even know how many streams related to this case, and Greg has never sent me a goddamn thing related to his case with her. So that's, I mean, you're not a genius if you think that's what's going on there, but you know. Ban on sharing my personal information. I would like to again point out that David S. Gingras, her attorney, shared her personal information against my will. And I tried to tell him, hey, your client says she's being harassed. You should probably redact this information that you post in your tweet with her address and fucking phone number. And he said it was fine. So, you know, all right. That's a little bit bullshit to me.
Yep.
But all right.
Well, her lawyer he's like a template lawyer, so this probably just comes from a template.
Good. Yeah. I mean, it definitely could. It's definitely possible.
I mean, I don't think these items 1 through 6 and number 9 are template items.
I've seen some weirdo stuff lately, though.
You know what I mean? Like all the check boxes for sure.
So yeah,
would
she
be.
may have just in the bottom there. She may have just put that. I don't know.
I think this
but
is custom stuff in number 9.
This is
Yeah, I
all-
think
She
9
doesn't
is
use the word
custom.
ban. I've never heard her use the word ban.
ban. I don't know why.
Interesting.
This is almost like as weird as the sovereign citizen Luigi lawsuit that we read the other day, which was interesting as hell.
I
A little
still need to
bit.
watch that video.
What's that?
I still need to watch that video. I have a backlog of videos.
Oh my god. So that was a case filed here in Jacksonville, Florida, where I live. So it was kind of like a bizarre thing that just happened to catch my attention. I was looking at Pacer and Court Listener for documents related to Luigi's cases, and then I saw this lawsuit that had been filed here, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I opened it, and I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. So it was just
Soft
really...
sit things are insane.
Yeah, no, I've never read like an actual lawsuit filed by a sovereign citizen.
I mean, this is pretty wild in the other direction. This is like, hey, I want the court and the police to make this guy Greg
Mm.
go about his life, you know, unable to sort of acknowledge that I exist, right? Which I think goes way beyond like some sort of protective order. Like protection is like you want to protect your safety,
Right.
and that doesn't mean that the state should stop someone from mentioning that you exist, for example. Like it's just it just blows my mind how authoritarian these requests are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, let's have the state tell someone he has to basically behave as if somebody else doesn't even exist, regardless of what they do. That just seems very wrong to me from a civil liberties perspective.
Stir Crazy pointed this out. It was number 8. Defendant should be ordered to stay away from any animal that is owned, possessed, leased, kept, or held by me, defendant, or a minor child living in either my household or defendant's household. I just want to ask, what does that mean? Stay away from a child living in his household? Like, what is that? Would that mean that she would get custody if there was there's obviously no children, and there was never any children. She was never pregnant. But like, what does that mean?
I think that has to do with if the order of protection was filed in the case of a not domestic violence, a violent like child abuse case.
Okay.
So if there was a minor child abuse,
why is number 8 checked then?
The animal.
No.
And it's an
she thinks he wants her dog
or the horse.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want those either. But yeah.
Well, what if he has a child?
Wait, what?
Does this number 8 not apply to his own child?
No, I think I think it's just a court form. The proper thing to do would have been just crossed out everything after possessed, leased, or kept, or held by me. And then just crossed out everything from defendant all the way over. That's it. I mean, it's I'm sure there's like a term for it in English, but because of all the ors, it's not like all of those things must be true.
No, well, I mean, yeah, exactly. So that's called, what is that? So that's just
there's a term for it.
Inclusive or. Like, so any of them could be true.
Yes.
But doesn't that mean that the final one is also true?
I mean, if the judge signed this without annotating that, then yes, he would have to stay away from any minor children living with Laura or himself. So he'd have to stay away from his own kid.
Isn't that insane?
That is, that's infuriating.
And it's checked here.
Once again, I think it has to do with the animal. I think she just didn't want to annotate it herself.
I mean, she may just be being a giant cunt and
but
trying to get.
He needs to get that cleared up.
Yeah, because I'm very pedantic, and that's the way it's written.
Yeah, absolutely right. I call restraining orders sometimes like poor man's eviction, because you can just, if you don't like one of your tenants, just get a restraining order against them. You don't have to do that eviction proceeding. Please do not use that advice. Please do not use that advice.
You're saying you've seen that happen in practice?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're not saying do it.
So what is it like where you're from? Is it easy to get a restraining order, Patrick? Like, because here it's like very difficult.
I have fortunately not had a lot of experiences with restraining orders. The one time I have worked on it in a legal capacity was in Massachusetts, and it was right after or shortly after the son of a famous, this is a famous case, the son of a famous Red Sox broadcaster got favorable treatment, arguably, from a judge who denied the restraining order, and the son of the broadcaster killed his girlfriend. And so after that, it was, unless it was patently incredulous, it was getting issued.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, it's past midnight here, and I have to wake up early in the morning again, so I should probably go. And the next podcast episode is going to come out tomorrow, probably tomorrow night, because I have to finish it. during the day. But
did you happen to catch the Bravo docket? Or there was a lot of posts that came out today, like the Reality Steve thing happened today. Did you catch that?
I was making dinner at my parents'
I
house.
watched
missed
Reality
that.
Steve's
Yeah.
live stream today.
I'll
What was
watch
the
it. I just
context?
didn't see it live.
What was
There
that?
was there was also the pop crime assessment of
Oh,
Laura's
I did
TEDx
not see
talk
that yet.
that
Yeah,
got copyright struck in the middle.
I saw that. I saw that happen. I haven't watched the whole video yet.
Such a bummer, yeah.
I thought that I love that Fox guy, and it made me realize that, and I'm not in any way advocating that anyone should talk to anyone involved in any of these cases whatsoever. I just thought it was interesting that I had never heard the TEDx talk it told in a way where I now understand that a significant portion of that TEDx talk was Laura speaking for someone else.
Mhm.
And as to whether or not all of those facts are true, like that someone else was there when the bags were being offloaded, that someone did hear X, Y, and Z, that someone was drinking a cocktail, those seem like very verifiable facts. So in terms of like an ultimate path to getting the TEDx talk addressed, you can read into that what you will. I think it really just takes that woman just answering some very basic questions, not even about the napkin. I've been so hyper focused on the napkin. I realize now, like, there's a lot more there to be in, like, curious about.
Yeah, because I think there's actually like 3 different versions of this story, right? There's the video, maybe even more. Isn't that right, Schnitzel? There's like the chicken soup.
Video, and chicken
Yeah.
soup, I think.
Yeah.
There's
and-
3 versions. So people have gone through and combed through and highlighted all the inconsistencies.
Right, from
between them.
the Iceland trip specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if that individual was able to, just put something on the record as to, do you have any misgivings about the story besides the napkin, and there was an answer there, I think that's a reason that creates a very reasonable basis that that's a misleading content.
So I think in the same way that Omar was saying, Greg has to go hard to fight this, if there's continued things in front of Mike, these are things he could do. Because that case specifically is about his filings and all of that, or the court documents related to him.
Yeah.
All right, still need to go over the reply.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that with Omar.
So keep me posted on that. Yeah, when Omar is alive.
When he's alive, when he gets his voice
I hope
back.
you'll join us for that, for your art history analysis.
I can join if you guys let me know. I can join in.
Yeah, always. You're always welcome.
Are we doing art?
Yes,
I
we're
think
doing.
I'll get some glitter.
We're going to study Laura reality versus Laura's online pictures.
Oh boy.
What's the reality of
The
the
art of-
situation?
I would watch Bruce paint something while Lauren talked about the case for sure.
With his feet. I want you to paint with your feet.
What if I want to watch
Landscape.
too?
Whoa.
Maybe I don't
With my
want to read
feet.
about the case.
Now who has the foot
You talked
thing?
about the what was it? Moose for feet.
Only feet? What?
Only feet, yeah.
I thought it was only antlers. What happened?
I think
Omar
people's
thinks I have a foot
abilities are
thing.
so
You do
funny,
have a foot thing,
like-
yes?
No, I don't.
I'm sorry. What, Patrick?
Oh, I was just saying, I would love to see if all of us just like tried to draw something, and like, I bet, like, I mean, mine would be a stick figure, so I would be very interested to see everyone else's. I've no.
We're doing a drawing contest next time.
Yes,
This is what-
absolutely.
Ooh.
You pick. Your
Definitely need
your
glitter
audience
then.
can pick the topic.
Oh yeah, it'll be terrible.
I draw pictures on my son's napkins for school every day. And it's
Oh,
always
that'd be
like
cute.
hot dog guy from Lego. Like there's a hot dog guy.
Yeah, but that's wholesome. We want to be weird.
Hot
Sonic.
dog guy?
Yeah, just look up like Lego hot dog guy.
Depends on what he's
Then
doing
he's
with
like
his
hot dogs,
hot
right?
dog.
Walking around
He
with
is
some-
the hot
Lego.
dog.
Oh, boy.
Hot dog. Wait, what the fuck just happened? Oh,
It's
I
just like a
didn't know we
hot
were gonna
dog
do
with Lego legs.
that. There we are.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, hot
No
dog.
Lego
it's
face.
got
Dry.
a hot dog costume on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had made a
Oh,
Jeopardy
my.
too, a Jeopardy game. If you guys want to compete in your Clayton trivia.
Oh,
Oh
that would
my
be
god,
fun.
let's go.
See,
This
that stuff
useless knowledge has to
is
be
like
put to some.
I know, like we've spent so much time like learning about this case over the past. However, there he is.
Oh boy.
So I draw that.
I
Yeah,
think one or two questions I wanted to rework because they were a little weird, but I did create a Jeopardy style trivia game.
that's cool. I feel like I feel conflicted about that because when I hear that, I'm like, that would be fun. Like we've spent so much time like learning all of this stuff about everything, and then I'm like, I mean, these are real people who have been like are
Yeah,
continuing to be victimized, and then I'm like,
I
I
know,
shouldn't think
right?
that's fun. You know?
Yeah, it's more, I think, it's a coping mechanism. I tried to make the questions more
Yeah.
on the funnier, not like, there's deep stuff here in some of these cases, and we don't want to focus on that. The more goofy stuff, like what shirt was Dave wearing, or this kind of more silly stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob says, I have original drawing from Lauren's coloring book. That is true.
Oh.
I sent
Ooh.
Rob a picture from my coloring book.
I'm about to be the proud owner of some notebooks. Is that
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I gotta check my mail.
Yeah, one thing that I sent you should have been there today, and then the other two are still on the way, I think.
Sweet. I'm super excited.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We got to call it a night, though, because I got to go to bed. So bye, everyone.
Bye everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.